1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Checking 1, checking 2. Hey, 1, 2. One, 2. Check 1. Check 2. 1, 2.
Whether you're in the diaspora or in Jamaica, the Diaspora Conference is a good idea. If you're not familiar with it, no problem. We'll now take you back in time to show you just some of those special moments.
Friends of Jamaica, ladies and gentlemen inside the Kingston Hall, and those joining us around the globe, welcome, welcome Bienvenido, bienvenue, bienvenue, tout le monde. Buenos dias a todos. Huaying, welcome. That's Mandarin, I think, yes. Zhao Shanghao.
Jamaica is indeed special. Hey, you remember how Barack greeted us when he came to Jamaica?
Wagwan, Jamaica!
You did exactly what I expected you to do, Prime Minister. Well done. And we didn't even...
The Diaspora Conference is a signature event that brings Jamaica, as we would say, from every nook and cranny across the globe together to discuss matters of national importance to Jamaica, land we love.
And you know, one thing we Jamaicans love is a talented liquor picnic.
For God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body. In the service of my fellow citizens, I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race.
Over the years, the Diaspora Conference has brought to the floor some powerful young people. One was a plenary called Developing Jamaica as a Key Financial Hub.
I was asked today to come and talk about essentially rethinking Jamaica and revisiting the concept of what it means to do business here and how do we attract a certain level of investor. What we have done is to essentially reimagine the whole thing. And we're trying to sell the world an image of Jamaica that in some cases, if I'm being honest, doesn't quite yet exist. But in many cases, what we're doing is highlighting above the noise these very specific entities and individuals who are doing amazing things despite all the conditions that I'm sure have been discussed over the last 2 days and will continue to be discussed. And when we put those folks on a platform against, the best in the globe, it starts to send a new message. So to our credentials, as I stand here today, we have seeded over $300 million in investments and deals for Jamaica. In January of this year, thank you. In January of this year, we were seen as making history as we attracted a group of individuals whose control of equity exceeded $100 billion right here to Kingston, Jamaica. What that essentially means is that 5 private jets descended on our airport, and we believe this is the beginning of a shift in narrative for somewhere like Kingston, which around the world, while we embrace this wonderful brand, has a very critical challenge. And I think we've pointed to it many times today, but on my journey, I've learned it the very hard way, traveling around the world, meeting with high net worth individuals, and just finding out that Jamaica suffers from what is essentially an image problem, right? We have not managed so far to package and sell the better side of our island and showcase it to the rest of the world. So what we're in the space of doing is creating platforms that attract wealth, innovation, influence, and big media to our island to, again, help to shift the narrative. And the hope is that we can drive a paradigm shift in the economic outlook of this country that we all love so much.
Individual personal empowerment. And I'm going to tell you about mine. The second thing I want you to remember when you leave here is about being ready. You need to be ready. Now, you need to get ready to be ready, but you don't want to be in a state of getting ready. You know, the Jamaicans say, boy, when you going to come? It soon come. Stop coming and come. Be ready. You can't do anything in life if you're not ready. Now, I sat down with Ian Boyne and Profile, and I said to him, Ian, when you're ready, your angel will appear. Everyone in here will go through that. When you are in that state where you feel like, I'm ready, things just seem to happen for you. Those are the 2 things. I'm going to repeat them. Personal responsibility and empowerment. And 2, be ready. Let's talk about how that applies to me. So I left this country, right? And I went to the United States to be ready.
Now, when we spoke about MSMEs, youth really enhanced our panel. Listen to Nadine Spencer.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction. Good morning, everybody, or afternoon. And, my former colleague, when I worked with on the White House Special Advisory Committee, when he came to Jamaica last, him says, massive, what a guan. So what a guan, everybody. I'm really thrilled to be a part of this session, Jamaica Partnership for Growth, because, as an entrepreneur, I understand what it is to really look at partnerships. So I'm going to take you back to how I got to be a dynamic marketer. At the age of 12, my mother migrated to Canada. Just, another immigrant experience. She left me behind with a caregiver who was not so caring. And part of my story is that she took me out of school and had me go to Spanish Town to buy Bammy for her. I lived in Mountain View, so you can imagine the journey. She gave no bus fare for getting back. I only had one ticket to go, enough money for the Bammy, and I had to figure it out. But when I got to the marketplace, what I realized very quickly was there was value there. I negotiated with the Bammy woman. She would sell 6 for one price, and I would negotiate that she would give me 8. And then I would take the Bammy that I got from the woman, her name is Althea, and I'd go to another corner of the market, and I would package it. I'd buy some parchment, the little brown bag, and I would buy that and go to another part of the market, and I would sell my Bammy all nicely packaged for more money, and that gave me enough money to not only my way back home and get me lunch, it also gave me resources.
My name is Asha Richards, and I'm the regional lead of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council, Northeast USA. This is a time for you to ask your burning questions, as well as to find out ways that you can be more involved in initiatives to propel Jamaica forward. So I'm calling Jamaicans from yard and abroad to save the dates, June 14th through 16th. And we look forward to the Jamaica 60th Diaspora Conference as we seek to reignite the nation for greatness.
Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, has a focus on youth, and with help from the diaspora, as we move them forward, we move Jamaica forward.
I am very excited to hear from our young diasporans as they share their opinions and proposals on matters of national and international development. This town hall represents another dimension of our foreign policy implementation, engagement with you, our Jamaican diaspora. So even as we have just joined the Governor General in celebrating the achievements of this year's awardees, I'd like to take a moment to sincerely thank the many individuals and institutions in the diaspora who continue to support our national development efforts at different levels. We look forward to many more years of successful partnerships.
My name's Carlton Brown, and I'm the proud owner and founder of Marshall & Brown. We were privileged in 2017 to have the opportunity to visit the Jamaica Diaspora Conference in Kingston. That conference was the catalyst for us and inspired us to develop this wonderful brand called Marshall & Brown. We were able to network, to meet with highly accredited international suppliers of foods in Jamaica. But it also gave us the opportunity to meet with JAMPRO, the trade and investment arm. As a consequence of that, we have developed what we now consider to be the most premium brand to come out of Jamaica, delivering luxury Caribbean foods. It's been an amazing journey, but that conference was definitely worth the investment, the time, and the opportunity.
What are your thoughts about growth and investment for our little island? The diaspora dip on it.
It gives me great pleasure to host this virtual meeting, town hall meeting, on this first day of the Jamaica Diaspora Sustainability Symposium. It is an absolute privilege to be able to interact with representatives of the diaspora, especially on Diaspora Day. Diaspora Day was born out of the recommendation that there should be a selected day where the achievements of the diaspora would be highlighted and the oneness of Jamaicans, both here and abroad, celebrated. That recommendation came out of the first historic Jamaica Diaspora Conference held in Kingston in 2004. This year's symposium is being held under the theme, Jamaica and the Diaspora, Stronger Together for a Sustainable Future. Its meaning could not be more powerful and relevant. Allow me to extend my sympathy and solidarity with all those who have been affected by this pandemic. All of us have had to endure the myriad challenges which have accompanied this most unexpected and difficult time in our history. Indeed, support from our diaspora has been a critical lifeline for our country during the pandemic. According to the most recent Bank of Jamaica remittance bulletin for March 2021, net remittance inflows increased by 70% in March 2021 relative to March 2020, and by 36% for the 2021 fiscal year relative to 2020. With our foreign exchange inflows from tourism being decimated, remittances from our diaspora have been invaluable in maintaining our balance of payments as well as our net international reserves, which remain buoyant at over $3 billion.
And with all of this, we know you still have questions.
Pleasant evening. I'm here from the United Kingdom. I'm a specialist in logistics. My name is Beverly Johnson. I looked at all of the areas you're working in, and we talk about border controls. One of the things I have not heard the ministry addressed is when are we going to take the footpath off the ports to protect the country? I live in the United Kingdom. I'm in logistics. I've never seen the face of a customs officer. Everything is done electronically. My goods are inspected without my presence. And so you're able to have a better sense of security, the kind of arms and ammunitions you're seeing, the kind of drugs movement you're seeing. If ever we have a port system that operates as a port and an off-port system that deals with inspection, you would have seen a better result in terms of protecting your borders.
And even more questions.
Retired basketball coach, now living in Kingston. I can't help but observe that most of the folks coming from abroad, one of the persistent questions they keep asking is, how do we get involved? How do we invest? And most panels so far are vague in their response. Today, I'm glad that you're not. I am quite impressed with your presentations. However, the question lingers. Are we asking the diaspora to invest or to sponsor? I think we need to be clear on how they can do either. The other question I have is, we have great ideas floating around many quarters of Jamaica. How do we bring those out and help them monetize those ideas? They lack the vision, the knowledge on how to go about that. Is there a vehicle available here, especially in the social development? Is there such a vehicle that people can come to you with their ideas and you say, maybe this is how you should go about it?
Let's now enjoy the best export we have from Jamaica. Of course, it's music.
Get crazy. They all want to hear us chat some patois like Miss Lou. Hey. So let's wave the black, the green, and the gold. Jamaica, one people, oh, one country, oh, hey, spreading love everywhere we go. Hey, one people, oh, one country, oh, hey, spreading love everywhere we go. are flying for the niceness. On the riverside, tropical bliss. I love how the kids them a play. I wish we could all be like children one day, dancing and splashing and holding hands. No matter your color nor where you're from, you're welcome to vacate on my island. Cause out of many we are one, let me sing now. Whoa, let me see you light it up. Whoa, we are diamonds in the rough. Whoa, voices so loud can't be denied. Across the world, our light still shines together. We are one people, oh, one country, oh, hey, spreading love everywhere we go. Hey, one people, oh, one country, oh, hey, spreading love everywhere we go. Alright, come to Jamaica, the land of beauty, where life on the beach feels like a movie. Take a trip, touchdown if you're feeling groovy. We party every day, cause we love the park. We will rise above the hardest of the times, hey. Even though sometimes the hills are hard to climb, let your light shine. Whoa, let me see you light it up. Whoa, we are diamonds in the rough. Whoa, voices so loud can't be denied. Across the world, our lights still shine. Together we are one people, oh, one country, oh, hey, spreading love everywhere we go. Hey, one people, oh, one country, oh, hey, spreading love everywhere we go. Nothing to me like me yard people are flying for the niceness. On the riverside, tropical bliss. I love all the kids them a play. I wish we could all be like kids for one day. What do we make from cassava? Me a kid with me a man banana. And when you hear me say watch ya, just know say you learn one people, oh, one country, oh, hey, spreading love everywhere we go. Hey, one people, oh, one country, oh, hey, spreading love everywhere we go. Hey, one people, oh, one country, oh, hey, spreading love everywhere we go. Hey, one people, oh, one country, oh, hey, spreading love everywhere we go. Hey, one people, one country, only one, love everywhere, everywhere.
When it comes to growth for the island, we have to talk about growth for all the industries: tourism, music, and health. The diaspora has been a big help during COVID.
I will say that I am proud to be a part of this Andrew Holness government at this particular point in the history of our country, and indeed in the history of the world, where we have faced one of the biggest public health threats that has confronted not just us as Jamaicans, but as a world. And indeed, 13, 14 months on, I believe we can say that we have been able to coordinate, collaborate, and respond to COVID-19 in a way that has left most Jamaicans feeling relatively safe and secure, even though, of course, there are challenges that we must work together to overcome. Indeed, approximately 6% or so of our budget has been contributions or donations in one way or the other, whether through personnel and expertise or gifts in equipment coming from the diaspora. And so one of the things we have done over the last number of years, certainly under this administration, is to establish a foundation, Health and Wellness Foundation, a special unit to deal with issues related to the diaspora. So if you are interested to contribute, to donate, to participate, then we try to accommodate this as best as possible. And we are available to be contacted on our website. We do so through outreach, through forums such as this one, and we certainly look forward to expanding that as we go forward.
The Prime Minister extends his commitment to growth for this, our little yard.
Beyond sending remittances, the diaspora continues to promote trade and foreign direct investment, spur entrepreneurship, create new businesses, and transfer knowledge and skills. Despite all this support, this powerful reservoir of capital, expertise, and relationships remains largely untapped relative to its potential. My government is committed to seeking increased engagement in our diaspora to harness this tremendous pool of dynamic expertise and priceless human capital towards the development of our country.
My name is Molly Lawrence and I'm involved in higher education in Germany. I'm looking forward to participating in this conference to see how I can partner with other Jamaicans in the diaspora who are passionate about education. Educating our people is the best way of reigniting a nation for greatness.
With all the lessons from COVID, if you're there, yard or abroad, we have to pull together. That's how we're going to reach those sustainable development goals for 2030. Jamaica has to be there with the rest of the world.
Our mandate, simply put, our goal, directive, is to advance Jamaica's mission of Vision 2030, which aligns directly with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. To provide a manageable framework to address all 17 of the Sustainable Development Goals, we have divided the Council into 5 working groups: people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. There are so many moving parts that the only way to keep this wheel moving is to focus on the mandate of the development goals.
The Minister of State who has the responsibility for the diaspora told us what to expect at the conference this year.
The upcoming Jamaica 6th Diaspora Conference will be both celebratory and substantive in scope and content, with a focus on digital transformation and innovation. The general objectives of the conference are to create and maintain strong links between Jamaica and its diaspora, market Jamaica as a viable alternative for investment, collaborate with the diaspora to discuss, identify, and implement initiatives for harnessing the potential that exists within their home countries and which complement national development agenda, and for alliances in such areas as business, social investment, among others. And lastly, align with the Jamaica 60 commemorative program to deliver a culturally immersive experience and encourage national pride in our heritage.
Now that you know what to expect, this is how you register. Check it out. To register for MFAFT's Diaspora Conference 2022, visit mfaft.gov.jm/JA60Diaspora-CONF. Select the Register As drop-down arrow and select Attendee Registration. Enter your full name, email address, and password, then select Agree and Continue. Enter any additional information required and select Next to complete the registration process. Once you have logged in or registered, you will see the newsfeed. The newsfeed shows updates and posts from the event admin, sponsors, and other attendees. To post to the newsfeed, select Here and type your message. You can select the photo video icon or the emoji to add an image or feeling to your post, and select Post. Select Exhibitor Hall to the left of your screen to see virtual booths from the event's sponsors. Click a booth to visit it. Use the various links to interact with the sponsor's brand. Select the Next Booth or Previous Booth buttons at the top of the page to navigate. Leaderboard. The leaderboard shows the ranking of the attendees by points. Points can be collected by visiting certain pages on the platform to qualify attendees for prizes. Select Collect Points on the leaderboard to see where you can visit to get uncollected points. Briefcase. Various items through the platform can be added to your briefcase. Such items are indicated by a briefcase icon next to them. Attendees are able to download these items and retrieve them from their briefcase. live stream. You can see upcoming sessions in the Schedules tab. Sessions can be added to your calendar to ensure you're notified in time to join and to be easily accessed. While a live stream is active, you may simply select the live stream button on the left of your screen or select the video icon that is always at the top of your page. A few actions become available when in a live session. On the left of your screen, there are 3 tabs. The Chat tab allows you to see comments from others. You can make a comment or reply by typing your comment here and selecting the Send icon. The Participants tab shows a list of participants currently online. The Q&A tab allows you to see questions from others to the presenters. You can ask a question by typing it here, then selecting the Send icon. The Group CEO of Grace Kennedy, Mr. Don Webby, said it best.
We need to remind ourselves that we have a rich culture, heritage, and a legacy as a country. I truly, truly believe Jamaica is the best country in the world. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. And I know we all feel a sense of pride when the black, green, and gold is flown high. When we touch down on the soil after time away from home, when we hear reggae music playing on the airwaves, and of course, I could not leave out this one, our jerk chicken and jerk pork with roast breadfruit and a little grey sauce on top of that. So we all love Jamaica, and we want the best for Jamaica. I have never been more positive about our country in all my entire life, as a private sector leader and as a citizen of this country. And I say it everywhere I go in the world, my team can tell you, Jamaica is the greatest country in the world.
Jamaicans, it's time to get to work. Let's reignite this nation for greatness.
The more we sip together, oh, we sip together, as it jolly how we shall be, 'cause your friend is my friend, my friend is your friend.
Recording in progress.
Council, and of course the West Midwest USA elected member, Ms. Naila Gordon DeCiccio, elected member. Hello, my name is Wayne Golding, and I serve as a team lead for the Peace Working Group of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. The other members of the Peace Working Group are Mr. Kevin Jr., Sector-Based Citizen Security, Ms. Shauna Chin, Vice Chair of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, and of course the West Midwest USA elected member, Ms. Naila Gordon DeCiccio, elected member from Canada, and Mr. Nathaniel Pete, elected member of the United Kingdom South. Serving as our secretary is Ms. Lisa Brian Smart, Assistant Director of the Diaspora Affairs Department in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. After intense research by members of the Peace Working Group on the issues surrounding the broad mandate and concept of peace, the group had its inaugural meeting on March 28, 21. The members of the group have had varying and wide-ranging discussions on the wider concept of peace and the development of a work plan to best adhere to the terms of reference of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, as well as Jamaica's Vision 2030 and the Matrix of Sustainable Development Goals of Jamaica. The concept of peace was defined by two internationally recognized concepts, the first being negative peace, which represents the absence of violence or the fear of violence from a society. The second being positive peace, which represents the attitude, institutions, and structures that create and sustain peaceful societies. The positive peace concept was adopted as a wider goal of the Peace Working Group. The Peace Working Group recognizes and appreciates and understands how countries like Jamaica operate within the concept of peace, which is very complex, and will strive to assist the development of positive peace-related policies. As members of the Jamaica Diaspora, we welcome the opportunity to consult, advise, and contribute to these policy developments as it relates to a more peaceful Jamaica. Jamaica is currently ranked number 80 of 163 on the Global Peace Index of countries in the world. Our strategic policy will follow well-functioning government, sound business environment, equitable distribution of resources, acceptance of rights of others, good relationship with our neighbors, free flow of information, high levels of human capital, and low levels of corruption. The group has taken its first steps to partner with an established group in Jamaica, which is the Area 4 Police Civic Committee. Mr. Kevin Jr. is the liaison between the Peace Working Group and the Area 4 Police Civic Committee. Peace Working Group looks forward to and anticipates a successful collaboration and the establishment of this type of structure right across Jamaica. On behalf of the Peace Working Group, I wish to welcome you to this year's biannual Jamaica Diaspora Conference and hope that it will further be a medium for the recalibration and continued cementing of the meaningful relationship between Jamaica and its awoken diaspora. Thank you and have a great conference.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade welcomes you to the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference, Reigniting a Nation for Greatness. Please stand for the playing of the Jamaican National Anthem. Please remain standing as we ask to lead us in prayer Reverend Newton Dixon, General Secretary for the Jamaica Council of Churches.
Let us compose our hearts for prayer. Eternal and sovereign God, we acknowledge your sovereign authority over the world and all that dwell within it. We acknowledge you as the source of true wisdom and knowledge, and that from you all blessings flow. Gracious God, we thank you for your grace, compassion, and mercy, which are bound up in your love towards us, and for the provisions which you have made for us to live our lives to the fullest. We thank you for the gift and work of the Jamaica Diaspora Conference 2022. We thank you for the many persons who have labored assiduously to help this organization to embrace high ideals and pursue glorious goals. We thank you for those who have contributed to the continuation of that legacy while charting new courses for the future of our people. Giving God, we thank you for this opportunity to reflect on the meaning of the connectedness of our common destiny as people who have emerged from the burdensome yokes of the past. We pray that the ensuing exchange of ideas will indeed help to transform Jamaica, our blessed and beloved land, the common incubator of our development and our dreams. Lord God of hope, yes, we do dream for a better Jamaica, a brighter Jamaica, and a more beneficent Jamaica. Bless your servants, therefore, God, on whom the mantle has fallen to address us, that they will inspire us, ignite our imagination, and incite our resolve to work harder and persevere longer for the Jamaica we desire and dream of. Bless this conference, O God, so that all of its outcomes will be relevant to the days in which we live, and help us to grow in our commitment to the principles of integrity, accountability, responsibility in our personal and corporate lives. Bless all the stakeholders who will interface with the machinery of this conference and cause that they too will hear and heed the call to serve and work with a consultative, cooperative, and collaborative spirit. So before you, we pray that you will continue to undergird it with your almighty power, the power that transcends all obstacles, barriers, and divisions, and transforms all of our efforts to the success of attaining equity, decency, and respect for the name of our Lord God. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Dixon. Please be seated. Welcome to the city of Kingston. Historically, Jamaica's third capital, preceded by the first capital, Spanish Town, in 1534, and then Port Royal, established by the British around 1655. Kingston, founded in 1692, after a major earthquake destroyed Port Royal, is today celebrated internationally as the birthplace of reggae, and since 2015, a UNESCO City of Music. My name is Paula Ann Porter-Jones, and it is such an honor for me, daughter of Jamaica, born in the original capital, Spanish Town, to be your host today. Now, the government of Jamaica, under the auspices of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, is proud to welcome you to this, the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference, under the theme, Reigniting a Nation for Greatness. Or we can take another way, if you want to be more Jamaican, man not dead, no call him duppy. In other words, rise up, Jamaica. Now, as long as we Jamaicans have life, there is hope for us to find a way to achieve our goals that have been set out in the Vision 2030 National Development Plan and the aspirations that are outlined in the draft National Diaspora Policy. This 9th Diaspora Conference is a signature event of the Jamaica 60th anniversary celebration of independence from the United Kingdom on August 6, 1962. It is a Diamond Jubilee. Now, this year's hybrid event welcomes in-person participants here at the Minister's offices in downtown Kingston and also online. And we want to say a bright Jamaican morning to the hundreds of participants who are joining us virtually. We move through our opening ceremony by inviting Senator the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, who's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, to bring the official welcome. Can you help me welcome her to the microphone, please?
Madam Master of Ceremonies, Mrs. Paula Ann Porter-Jones, colleague members of Cabinet, Mr. Mark Golding, Leader of the Opposition, Senator the Honorable Leslie Campbell, Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Ambassador Luis del Solar Dorrego, Ambassador of Argentina to Jamaica and Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Ambassador Noah Perry, Ambassador of the United States of America to Jamaica, Ms. Jackie Wright, Chief Digital Officer and Corporate Vice President, Microsoft US, and our very special guest presenter today, Senator Don Webby, Group CEO, Grace Kennedy, and Chairman of the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference, other legacy partners, and allow me to please recognize the Honorable Earl Jarrett of the JN Group and Mr. Courtney Campbell of the Victoria Mutual Group in particular. Members of the clergy, members of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council and the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council, my foreign ministry team here in headquarters and in our overseas missions, specially invited guests, my Jamaican family and friends of Jamaica, good morning to all of you. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference. A special welcome to members of the GJDC and the GJDYC, the 4 recipients of this year's Grace Kennedy Birthright Program, as well as our valued diaspora members, some of whom are joining us for the first time in our new headquarters here on the waterfront in downtown Kingston. Today marks the start of 3 exciting days of what promises to be a uniquely conceptualized conference consisting of dynamic, innovative, and interactive dialogue under the national theme, Reigniting a Nation for Greatness. This conference, which coincides with Jamaica's 60th anniversary of independence, and might I add, the Foreign Ministry's 60th anniversary, it will be both celebratory and substantive in scope and content regarding issues of mutual interest between Jamaica and the diaspora, with a focus on digital transformation. As noted by the Prime Minister, the government's aim is to ensure that Jamaica becomes the Silicon Valley of the region. We are most delighted, therefore, to have as our guest speaker and keynote, Ms. Jackie Wright, Chief Digital Officer and Corporate Vice President of Microsoft US. I thank Ms. Wright for accepting my invitation, and I know we will all be inspired by her remarkable knowledge and experience. Ladies and gentlemen, while I regret that I'm not able to join you in person due to my participation at the 12th WTO Ministerial Conference in Geneva, I am thankful that we are able to come together, albeit in hybrid format, to have this dialogue as a family. I'm especially pleased that we've been able to broaden our engagement beyond our traditional diaspora centers in the UK, USA, and Canada. We're happily benefiting from greater inclusion of our brothers and sisters in Asia, Africa, the Pacific, Europe, the Caribbean, and the Americas. In reflecting on our accomplishments as a country and a ministry, I am deeply humbled and feel it a great honor and privilege to serve as Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Our main is the deepening and strengthening of our relations with the diaspora, and I'm pleased that since my appointment in 2016, I've been able to be a part of the amplification of the importance of diaspora engagement to development. In undertaking my duties, I've been able to meet with so many of you who are blazing the trail across the world in your various fields. tenacity, the resilience, the pride, and the stick-to-itiveness of my Jamaican family that have migrated and settled in foreign lands. What always inspires me is that regardless of geographical distance, your hearts always reside in your island home, Jamaica. The biennial Diaspora Conference also provides us with an opportunity to publicly say thanks to you for your remarkable work in your country of residence, as well as your efforts to support Jamaica's development process. We've demonstrated our appreciation in tangible ways over the years in acknowledgement of your support, and we will continue to do so in the years ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, while there have been shortcomings with previous editions, I believe that the conference has presented an important forum for robust exchange of views, and they've yielded many positive outcomes, achieved agreed targets, and have resulted in a more structured approach to the engagement with diaspora. As we continue this process of deepening our engagement, I thank all stakeholders who continue to be involved in this global effort. In closing, allow me to thank Senator Don Webby, Conference Chairman and Legacy Partner, the Honorable Earl Jarrett of the Jamaica National Group, and Mr. Courtney Campbell of the Victoria Mutual Group, all faithful and steady legacy partners with whom I feel blessed to share good relations. Thank you also to all major sponsors and partners, including Hardware and Lumber and Vestas Chicken, and of course the participants in the government at your service and marketplace. Many thanks to Professor Ying for his invaluable support in crafting the program for the next 3 days, Lisa Ann Ogilvie, our project manager, partnering MDAs, the members of the various subcommittees, the GJDC and GJDYC, our speakers and presenters, and our broadcast hosts. Finally, I thank my hard-working ministry team here at home and at Post for all the hard work that has gone into making this Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference a reality. My best wishes for a productive and enjoyable conference. I thank you.
And assist me in thanking the Honourable Minister for her welcome. And I ask that you keep the applause going, because joining us on Zoom with his remarks is our Minister of Tourism, the Honourable Edmund Bartlett.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, and a very, very strong Jamaican good morning to our diaspora and to our Commonwealth dispersed across the globe as you are. Distinguished ministers and diplomats and other stakeholders in this great project called Jamaica that we are working so assiduously to enable its full development and the actualization of its promise of prosperity for our people. Today I want to welcome you and to join with my Minister of Foreign Affairs in welcoming Jamaica's Commonwealth of the world. You indeed are our tourism ambassadors, our brand diplomats, our global influencers, and our marketing managers. Indeed, before anyone visited Jamaica, they met a Jamaican somewhere, whether on the shop floor or in the medical space or engineering or in science and technology or in politics or in the halls of influence and the avenues of powers across the globe. They then formed an opinion and developed a sense of inquiry, wanting then to see where these people come from, what is their country looking like, and how indeed they became who they are. So we have had over the last 60 years the great fortune of having the contribution of you, our diaspora, in all these different areas. And in fact, that contribution, we want you to recognize that we, in Jamaica here, in this 60th observation of our independence, value greatly, and we make no gainsaying about it. So, as we celebrate our independence, August 6th, 1962, then, now this 60th anniversary recognizes fully the valued contribution of our diaspora to sustainable development of Jamaica. In this vein, let me add my welcome not just to yet another Jamaica Diaspora Conference, but to welcome you home, even to you who are with us virtually, because you know that regardless of where in the world you find yourself, there is nowhere like home, your Jamaican home. This Diaspora 60 conference is being held under the theme, Reigniting a Nation for Greatness. And as Minister of Tourism, I fully embrace it as it resonates with new insights. I think we have been seeing a rebound from the devastating impact of COVID-19 pandemic, and the tourism industry is a good example of that. So it is imperative, I think, that you be brought into the picture, as we have an important role we know that you must play in the recovery process, which I will outline a little later. But just consider this. The first quarter of 2020, at the heights of the winter tourist season, when we were all well set to break new records in terms of arrivals and earnings, then came the pandemic. But we worked. And as a resilient country, we're not daunted by challenges. We responded to the challenge. And so, although we had lost 130,000 workers because we had to close the industry, and the country lost in the process $46.3 billion US dollars. By June of 2020, we were ready to bounce back and to open our borders, and that we did. And I'm pleased to let you know that having started from ground zero, we were all united and uniting to bounce back, to reimagine, and to build back our industry stronger and better. I'm pleased to tell you that in the 2 years that have emanated, we are now at the cusp of restoring the COVID-2019 levels of arrivals and earnings. Indeed, by tomorrow, Wednesday, we would have welcomed our first million stopover visitors and earned $1.5 billion US dollars. So, what is your role? Yes, you can help us to make this full recovery happen. Indeed, I'm imploring you to use the occasion of our Diamond Jubilee to make 2022 not just the best year for our tourism, but the best year in which more Jamaicans than ever before return home to celebrate the very special occasions that the 60th anniversary presents. I'm proud to say that indeed it was Jamaicans who kickstarted the industry after the pandemic lockdown. And I can tell you that the feedback from both the guests and hotel operators was very good. Our hotels continue to welcome Jamaicans with open arms. So as the recovery continues, global tourism has been pivoting and demanding greater creativity in developing products and marketing destinations. This holds whether the tourist destination is really a large country or a small one like ours. And so we have been relentless developing world-class health and safety protocols that will ensure survival of the industry. So post-pandemic now, the development of the tourism industry is being guided by our Blue Ocean strategy as we refocus our sights on growth targets of achieving 5 million visitors, earning $5 billion, and to have 5,000 new rooms. What this new process has brought is a demand for more supplies, for more experiences, and for more investments. And although already we are on track with the investments pre-COVID, 90% of the investments that we had on the books are now ready and intact. We break ground a few weeks ago. We are going to break ground again in another few weeks, and we will have about 8,000 new rooms over the next 5 years. But our focus is now on our local people and our diaspora to invest more in tourism. The supply chain disruptions invite new opportunities for investment by our diaspora in the services and the supplies that the industry needs. Nearshoring is a huge new prospect, and the energy and excitement of it should bring more of our own people into the mainstream of investing in this area, providing supplies not just for Jamaican tourists, but indeed for the Caribbean and the other parts of the world where brands that are located in Jamaica also have access. So we're inviting you to participate with us in the recovery in a very strong way, not just from the point of view of the remittances, which we really, really love and want, but also from hard investment in the whole process of building capacity to enable prosperity for our people. So thank you so much again for being the partners that Jamaica needs, our Commonwealth. Help us to make the next 60 years the success story that Jamaica is destined to be. May this conference ignite a new energy, create a new forum for deliberations and discussion, but close with a resolve to make Jamaica the greatest idea the world has ever had. One love.
Thank you, Minister Bartlett. I like that, to make Jamaica the greatest idea the world has ever had. To bring her remarks in person, it is a pleasure to welcome the Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, the Honorable Olivia Grange.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would wish to acknowledge the Honorable Minister of State, Leslie Campbell, as well as our Honorable Minister, Favour Williams, here with us this morning. I saw Minister Green, Honorable Floyd Green. There you are. And I also wish to acknowledge Senator Don Webby, as well as leaders of industry, leaders of the private sector, the media, the diplomatic corps, friends and family, because it could be a very long list. And of course, to the diaspora communities across the world that's joining us online. And as they say, anywhere Jamaican Day, anywhere in the world is Jamaica. Good morning. So as Minister with portfolio responsibility for Jamaica's Diamond Jubilee, it gives me immense pleasure to endorse the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade's Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference as an official Jamaica 60 event. The conference is being held under the theme, the Jamaica 60 theme, Reigniting a Nation for Greatness. Let me begin by saying that Jamaica 60 is off to an exciting start, even in the midst of controversy. We kicked activities off in February with the only month-long reggae festival in the world, Reggae Month, Jamaica. It was 29 days of roots, rocking reggae music, educational seminars, and of course, Jamaican cuisine. We then went on to our launches here in Jamaica on April the 13th, and in the main diaspora centers across the world. So in March, we did Toronto. In April, we did Birmingham. And also we did London. And then we went on to the Pen Relays, where we created history as usual with our athletes' great performances. And then we launched in New York in May and in Florida also in May. There are a couple more stops to make overseas. We're going to one of the largest churches that's headed by Grace Jones' brother, Bishop Jones, and we'll be doing a special launch in LA. So we're really off and running. We're now gearing up for the highlight of the Jamaica 60 celebrations in the summer. Activities start with a bang on Sunday, July 3, when we go in search of a Jamaica 60 Jamaica gospel star, like Rising Star. This will continue for 5 weeks and will culminate in a grand finale in the Jamaica Festival Independence Village at the National Indoor Sports Center, where that village will run from the 30th of July through to August 6. The highly anticipated Jamaica Festival Independence Village will in fact start on July 28th when we have the finals. And listen for this, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a festival song competition. What we have decided to do is to create a narrow window of 1 week and to invite new entries. And I have been networking the industry to get good producers, good songwriters, and performers on board so we can come up with 10 songs. And we will have a festival song competition. And then, of course, in addition to that, we will have our Jamaica 60 commemorative album, which will feature Coffee, Shaggy, Sasko, Ome, and a number of others to be announced. So I just want to say to the diaspora and to Jamaicans here at home that we will have a festival song competition and we will have quality entries. So let me give you a quick overview of the schedule for the Jamaica Festival Independence Village. On Thursday, July 28th, the finals of the 2022 Jamaica Festival Song Competition. On July 30, finals of the Jamaica Gospel Star Competition. And Kevin Downswell is a product of the Jamaica Gospel Competition. On Sunday, July 31st, we will have, and this is a special service, we normally have a national service for independence, and this will be an interfaith service. On Monday, August 1, we will have the coronation of the Jamaica Festival Queen. On August 2, we will have a special event being co-hosted by the ambassador from Nigeria and the ministry, and it will be called Return to the Motherland. On Wednesday, August 3, we'll have Melagaround. On August 4, we'll have a Jamaica Film Festival. And on August 5, Jamaican music through the years, when we will have an array of all the festival songs over the years. On Wednesday, July 27, the Governor General will be hosting his reception. On July 29, the JDF will have a special parade, which is a mini military expose. We will have the Civil Emancipation Jubilee on July 31st. On August 1, Emancipation Day, we will have our civic ceremony in National Heroes Park. And again, we are reintroducing the Independence Float and Street Parade, and that will be held on Emancipation Day. Because if we held it on the 6th, the National Stadium could not accommodate the crowd. And of course, on August 6th, we will have our grand gala. So the role of the Jamaican diaspora cannot be overstated, and especially this year, as Jamaica celebrates 60 years of independence. And we say thanks for the diaspora's continued support. So Jamaicans across the diaspora continue to have an immense impact, such that the texture, the color, the totality, and the culture of the UK, USA, Canada, and other diaspora communities have changed forever because of our presence. We look forward to the Jamaican colors lighting up Niagara Falls on Independence Day, and our watch parties where we will see what they're doing and they will see what we are doing. And so as I close, I want to say that Jamaica 60 provides us with an opportunity to unleash even more forcefully the power and prowess of our Jamaican diaspora. It provides us with another occasion to situate Jamaica and Jamaicans among the world's most tenable and globally acclaimed brands and culture. As we seek to sustain our nation's greatness, let us reignite the fire. It's my pleasure to join my colleague Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith this morning and to join Minister Bartlett in saying to everyone, let us use the occasion of our Diamond Jubilee to create legacies for the next 60 years and beyond. May God bless you all. May God bless Jamaica, land we love.
Thank you so much, Minister Grange. The power and the prowess of the Jamaican diaspora being unleashed as we reignite our nation to greatness. And bringing remarks next, ladies and gentlemen, is the leader of the opposition. We will be having him speak at this time. Can I ask you to help me welcome him to the lectern? Mr. Mark Golding.
Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremonies. Minister Johnson-Smith in absentia, Minister Bartlett in absentia, Minister Grange, I see Minister Green, Minister Faber-Williams here, and of course Minister of State at his home base, Leslie Campbell. I see Senator Don Webby, I see members of the Diplomatic Corps, Consular Corps, and of course many distinguished ladies and gentlemen who are here today, and most of all our diaspora who are participating, whether in person here or online. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers for inviting me to attend this opening ceremony of the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference, as we join in the ongoing celebrations of our nation's Diamond Jubilee under the theme, Reigniting a Nation for Greatness. And Minister Grange has given us a rundown of all of the activities that are planned as part of that celebration. Jamaica is emerging, along with the world, from over 2 years of a global pandemic, which has made the centrality of technology and innovation even more apparent. It is therefore timely and appropriate that this year's conference will focus on the digital transformation of Jamaica, in addition to the important recurring themes of developing our health and education sectors, promoting business and investment, and tackling our national security challenges. Jamaica cannot afford to be left behind in this wave of digital transformation currently sweeping the world. Digital transformation is enabling us to increase connectivity between Jamaicans at home and in the diaspora in increasingly efficient, affordable, and seamless ways, making it so much easier for us to interact with each other and to be productive in those interactions. It provides ready access to critical services and makes routine transactions simple and painless. We commend the conference partners, Grace Kennedy Group, Victoria Mutual Group, and Jamaica National Group, who are embracing themselves this digital transformation in their businesses and forging ahead in providing many of the services to Jamaicans at home and abroad that this new technology offers. Jamaicans, wherever we are in the world, demonstrate excellence in many fields of endeavor, whether it be business, academia, the trades and professions, politics, sports, music, ancillary services, workers in the manufacturing, and so many more areas of business and life. Your achievements are an important part of building Brand Jamaica. Our diaspora has also long been a vital safety net for family and friends back home. This support was heightened during the COVID-19 pandemic, not only in the volume of remittances, which in 2021 was a record year, but also in many other areas. And the pandemic would have had a significantly harsher impact from the devastating economic and social effects of COVID-19 without the support of the diaspora here in Jamaica. Of particular note were the many initiatives to support our health sector, which increased its resilience in a time when it was under unprecedented stress. The education system in Jamaica was also a major beneficiary. Without your support, many more children would have been without the devices needed to engage in online learning during the long period while face-to-face classes were suspended. The contribution of our diaspora is immense, and your voices deserve to be heard. You are a great, but so far insufficiently recognized national asset. We need to find effective ways to strengthen our connection with Jamaicans overseas. We must find ways of enabling you to contribute as fulsomely as you will to helping to build our beloved Jamaica. We must find ways to leverage your tremendous skills, knowledge, and goodwill as we collectively tackle the many difficult challenges facing our people and our nation. I believe that digital transformation can lead us to new and effective ways to benefit from your capacities on our journey of national development. It can play a critical role in enabling the great global Jamaican family to participate whenever and wherever our nation's problems are being analyzed and solutions are being formulated. It is my sincere hope and expectation that this Diaspora Conference will be a catalyst for actualizing the theme, reigniting a nation for greatness. And for my part, I commit my efforts and those of the parliamentary opposition to supporting this process and helping to drive it forward. I wish you a wonderful conference, and most of all, I hope that the follow-up of all that's discussed here will be meaningful and actualize some of the decisions taken. May God bless you all and bless our dear island home, Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Golding. And in the words of Mr. Golding, as we engage our great Jamaican family, our global Jamaican family, just to let you know what we have coming up in this morning's sessions. So we look forward to participating in, I think there are 2 exciting concurrent breakout sessions with members of diaspora faith-based organizations, young diaspora members, and government departments. Going to be talking about service delivery, and of course we will facilitate questions and comments. There is a marketplace that's going to be in full swing, an online marketplace, and you can at any time click on the link to the virtual marketplace to check out the exhibitors. Right now, you are invited to check out Jamaican talent on display. Please help me welcome Ms. Paulette Bellamy and Mr. John Williams to perform for us. It's always a pleasure not just to listen to them play, but to watch them. Those veteran performances, the performers, years of performances, and the way they communicate throughout the performance. So one more time, please, for both of them. Thank you so much, Paulette Bellamy, John Williams. We now move back to the other part of our program, and we are asking you to help us welcome member of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council, Ms. Aisha Richards. That should be Asha Richards at the microphone.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening to all those joining us in Jamaica and abroad. My name is Asha Richards, and I am the Northeast USA Regional Lead of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council. And on behalf of the GJDYC, I would like to welcome you all to the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference. Now, unlike many participants in this conference, I was not born in Jamaica, nor did I grow up here. Despite this, Jamaica has played a pivotal role in my life and upbringing. I was christened here, my family is here, most of my summers have been spent here, and my mother always ensured that Jamaican culture was strong and alive at home. And while my connection to Jamaica might be different, it is far from unique. While there are many youth in the diaspora that are second generation like myself, there are others who might have been born in Jamaica but left when they were very young. In addition, there are those whose connection to Jamaica is through distant relatives. And then there are the many youth in the diaspora that fall somewhere in between. Now, what connects us all is our love and affinity for Jamaica, no matter where we were born, where we grew up, or where we currently reside. We all view Jamaica as home, and as members of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council, we not only want to connect with the island through family and culture, but we want to be active participants in the country's advancement. For us, the Diaspora Conference gives us an opportunity to learn about different initiatives we can engage with to propel Jamaica forward, and most importantly, gives us a platform to share our ideas, opinions, and knowledge. The youth are the future of any country, and their active and consequential inclusion in discussions such as these is important in modernizing and advancing the country in innovative ways. Additionally, in a globalized world moving towards new technologies, the youth have a greater role in now more than ever in Jamaica's advancement. So as a representative of the GJDYC, I would like to thank all of those who have put these 3 days of events together. And I would like to thank you, fellow diaspora members, for joining us in reigniting the nation for greatness. Remember to tune into our plenary session, Youth and the Economy, today at 12:30 p.m. And if you are a young person in the diaspora, I highly encourage you to join the GJDYC family. You can find us on all social media platforms at Global JA Youth. And again, welcome to the conference.
Thank you so much, Asha Richards. Let me see if I can say it as quickly as she does. The GJDYC, the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council. Now that the ministry's offices are here, I can say that we are inviting a neighbor to speak next. He is conference chair and group CEO of the Grace Kennedy Group, who have been sponsors of the conference for at least 2 decades, just about. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Senator Don Webby to bring remarks.
Thank you very much, Paula. Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful morning in downtown Kingston, great Jamaica. I was just saying to Asha a while ago, she said she wasn't born here, but she has a Jamaican accent. So I found that very interesting. That's the power of our Jamaican accent. So good morning again, everyone. Members of the cabinet, Favel and Floyd and others, my friend Mark Golding, Mark, incidentally, many of you may not know, was actually a director of Grace Kennedy before he went into politics. And I'm not going to ask you this morning if you regret it or not. But he was a director of Grace Kennedy, and I must say a very good one. Ambassador, or friend of Jamaica, ambassador from Argentina. Welcome, 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 welcome. Is Jackie Wright actually here? Hey, Jackie, sorry, stand up and give her a big round of applause. You know, Jackie is what we refer to. Jackie, I'm so proud of you. You're the epitome of somebody from the Jamaican diaspora who has been very successful. We're all so proud of you, Jackie. And thank you for joining us as our special guest presenter. My good friends, Earl Jarrett and Courtney Campbell, welcome. They have been on this journey from 2004, guys, and we have been doing well. Thank you so much. Members of the clergy, the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council and the Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council, specially invited guests, Jamaican family and friends of Jamaica, conference participants online and in person, good morning, good evening. So whether you're from Negril Point in Hanover, or the cool hills of Manchester, the beautiful plains of St. Thomas, or the hills and valleys of St. Elizabeth, Sir Floyd, a warm welcome to the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference. What a privilege it is for me to serve as chairman of this year's conference during Jamaica's Diamond Jubilee of Independence and Grace Kennedy's 100th year in business. You can give me a round of applause, you know. It gives me great pleasure to participate in this morning's opening ceremony. I think this week's event will go down in history as our first hybrid diaspora conference and the first conference where Jamaicans from as far away as East Asia will connect with their counterparts and all over the world to partner for a better Jamaica. And my understanding from my conference organizers is that there's actually a special event in Japan now where a number of Jamaicans are gathered to join us this morning. So welcome from Japan. You know, when we speak about hybrid, Mark, you covered it well in terms of digital transformation. And this is going to be the new world in terms of how we conduct business and interact with each other. The planning conference committee has worked tirelessly over the past few months to stage this event. And I would like you to recognize them and give them a big round of applause for their effort, including my good friend who has been with us for a long time, Sir Neville. Stand and be recognized. Sir Neville Ying. May I say, no stone has been left unturned to ensure we deliver a superb, interactive, and engaging conference. A big thank you to the conference planning committee. Really, really appreciate your efforts. Conference participants, thank you for joining us this morning. Please spread the word about this event. It's not too late to join us and help us to lay the plans for achieving our nation's 2030 vision to make Jamaica the place of choice to work, raise families, and do business. As conference chair, and on behalf of every person and organization that has played its part to make this week possible, thank you, thank you, thank you, for we really value your contribution to make the conference a success. The truth is, colleagues, the truth is that the wealth of knowledge, expertise, experience, and patriotism that is represented in this room and in the virtual space is an example of what is good about Jamaica. Together we create a unifying force, the spirit of Jamaica, and we have the power to reignite Jamaica for greatness. And so, I'm happy to be here with you today because Jamaica needs people that have a vested interest in seeing our Jamaica shine, to work together to propel each other and our nation forward. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you choose to join us here, and I thank you. This is a win for Jamaica. I'm looking forward to the action items that will arise from our discussion. Let me say it again. I'm looking forward to the action items that will arise from our discussions. Through partnership, I know that we can place Jamaica on the path to become the great nation it is meant to be. The last Diaspora conference in 2019, which I had also the privilege of chairing, really facilitated robust debates and discussions and explored new pathways to collaborate and support the diaspora in their respective locations. Of equal importance was the participants' involvement and interest in Jamaica's national development processes. During the last conference, we spent a lot of time discussing the national diaspora policy, and since then, the policy has been approved by Cabinet. I am looking forward to discussing the next steps for implementation of the national diaspora policy during this conference. I'm in full support of a detailed implementation plan with timelines. And you probably have heard me say in my capacity as CEO of Grace Kennedy, what gets measured gets done. So again, congratulations to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. We're having a vision 18 years ago to convene this event and engage the diaspora in this way. Under the leadership of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, and the Minister of State, my good friend Leslie Campbell, the ministry has been doing well in creating and strengthening the Jamaica alliances. I would like to take this opportunity, this opportunity to wish Minister Johnson-Smith all the very best with her candidature for Commonwealth Secretary General. I have no doubt that she will do a fantastic job. I must also extend my sincere thanks to the Most Honorable Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, for his support for this event. The conference is truly befitting our Jamaica 60th celebration, and we are proud that it has become a part of this monumental milestone in our nation's history. By the way, I was very happy to hear from Minister Grange that we're going to have a festival song this year. I must say I was truly disappointed when I heard the news. And in fact, I'll share a secret with you. My first, and I don't know if you guys know it, maybe some of you are too young, my first memory of a festival song, well, Courtney will remember, and I'm sure Earl, is Oh Cherry, Oh Baby, Eric Donaldson, 1971. Obviously, I was still in short pants, Ambassador, but I have a good memory. So, Oh Cherry, Oh Baby. Yeah, that was a nice and catchy tune. So let me also say to GK fellow legacy partners, Jamaica National, Earl, big respect, big respect. You have played an integral role in keeping this conference going over the years. Sorry, the graduate of Grace Kennedy and the now president of Victoria Mutual, Courtney Campbell. I salute you, sir. Well done. Thank you for your unwavering support of the conference over the years. I really thank you. A big thank you also to other conference sponsors. I see Best Drex is here, and Hardware and Lumber and a number of others. Thank you so much for rising to the occasion and making the resources available this year. And I have been reliably informed that we raised enough as required by our budget. So thanks again to all our sponsors and our legacy partners. Thank you. There's so much in store, and I know that we'll have a wonderful time. I'm looking forward to hosting the conference participants this evening at the GK Hospitality event, which will be streamed live online and will feature live performances by Tony Rebel and our brand ambassador, Ding Dong. And I'm hoping to see some of you doing the Ding Dong dance, which I will not be doing. So all of us in this forum, whether we live in Jamaica or overseas, we are a team. Whether we live here or overseas, we are a team. Let us refer to us, Madam MC, as Team Jamaica, whether you are here or overseas. You know, I came upon this quote, which has really resonated with me, and I wanted to use it this morning under the umbrella of Team Jamaica, living away or living here. And it simply says, it's by a Japanese poet, individually, we are a drop. Together, we are an ocean. Individually, we are a drop. Together, we are an ocean. Can you imagine for a moment, for a minute, that Jamaicans all over the world, wherever you are, if we work as a team, may I suggest to all of you, if we do that, we are going to be unstoppable. We will be the greatest nation on earth. So as I welcome you to this conference as a chair, may I take this opportunity to say to all of you, God bless Jamaica, the greatest country in the world. Thank you.
Individually, we are a drop. Together, we are an ocean. Thank you so much, Senator Webby, Conference Chair, Group CEO for Grace Kennedy Group. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just one more speaker in our closing ceremony today. And that is, of course, Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator the Honorable Leslie Campbell. Can we welcome him, please, with the Conference Declaration?
I know at these conferences you get used to seeing a lovely face. That face is in Geneva this morning, so I'm merely deputizing. So, but I want you to get used to the idea that you won't see that lovely face for too much longer after June 24. So this is just the dry run. and I'm just following on what Senator Webby has said, that he expects that a certain outcome will follow from the event taking place in Kigali on June 24. Mr. Mark Golding, and let me thank you, Madam Porter-Jones. My friend, Mr. Golding, he sort of set the tone as to where we're going today. I don't know why he chose to steal from Miss Wright, but I suppose he has the privilege of being the leader of the opposition, and so he did a little thing there. Senator, the Honorable Kamina Johnson-Smith, who is unavoidably absent today at MC 12 in Geneva. The Honorable Olivia Grange, I think she's still with us. The Honorable Favour Williams, the Honorable Edmund Bartlett, the Honorable Floyd Green, Senator Don Webby, Chairman of Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Mr. Courtney Campbell, Chief Executive Officer of the VM Group, the Honorable Earl Jarrett, Chief Executive Officer of the JN Group, Ms. Jackie Wright, Chief Digital Officer and Corporate Vice President, Microsoft US, and Ms. Alexandra Davis of the US City of Miramar, representatives of our sponsors, representatives of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council and the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Council, representatives of ministries, departments, and agencies, members of the media, conference participants, and as I acknowledge Professor Lloyd Waller and Professor, we call him the diaspora professor, Professor Neville Ying, who has worked tirelessly in pulling the content together for this year's conference. we're grateful. Morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in the diaspora. It is my distinct pleasure to extend very warm greetings to our family at home and abroad, from traditional and non-traditional diaspora locations, as we gather for the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference. We are so very pleased that we have been able to have an all-inclusive approach in deepening our diaspora engagement. We're also particularly delighted that so many of you have joined us on this critical journey. I take the opportunity to express appreciation to our legacy partners and sponsors for their remarkable patronage for the staging of this conference. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first diaspora conference being held since our world was visited by COVID-19 pandemic, making our gathering all the more poignant. The considerable support, interest, and extraordinary generosity of spirit of our diaspora members assisted us during the pandemic as we all stood united in our desire to see our beloved Jamaica, land we love, recover stronger. As we continue on the path towards recovery, the engagement of our diaspora members in nation building remains relevant and critical. Ladies and gentlemen, the government of Jamaica remains committed to harnessing the full potential of the diaspora. I am pleased to note that significant progress has been made towards the finalization of a national diaspora policy, as mentioned by Minister Johnson Smith. We are also completing the accompanying plan of action to implement the strategic priorities identified in the policy. To be effective in these pursuits, we will need data in the order of access to reliable, regular, and updated statistics of the size, location, and demographic characteristics of diaspora members, for which technology will be critical. We are collaborating with international partners to develop a digital portal and digital registration platform to collect data, thereby facilitating evidence-based decisions for diaspora engagement. A feasibility study will also be developed in consultation with the diaspora on a Jamaican diaspora engagement model. It has been recognized that the remittance industry needs to be formalized and modernized. We're therefore pleased that the International Organization for Migration will support the government of Jamaica in this modernization. Since the establishment in 2020, Global Jamaica Diaspora and the Global Jamaica Diaspora Youth Councils have worked diligently to deepen the partnership with the diaspora. We thank them for all their tremendous work, more particularly in identifying thematic areas of direct concern for inclusion on the conference agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, this Diamond Jubilee Conference is intended to give added impetus to the process of strengthening, expanding, and sustaining diaspora engagement. The added focus on digital transformation at this year's staging is of particular significance and will capitalize on the cultural affinity of the diaspora to Jamaica and the engagement opportunities offered by new and emerging technologies. Through our dialogue, we intend to develop some key elements of an implementation roadmap, which will serve, one, to re-energize and motivate members of the diaspora to be active, passionate, and collaborative partners in areas of mutual interest to Jamaica and its diaspora in post-COVID-19 era, to upgrade the diaspora members in a timely manner on the progress of national, social, and economic development and the impact of diaspora partnerships. For government ministries, departments, and agencies to take timely actions and increase customer satisfaction in key areas of critical importance to the diaspora. I'm therefore looking forward to the Riverside Chats. Ideally, I thought they ought to have been named the Seaside Chat, starting with our keynote speaker, Jackie Wright, the plenaries, igniting sessions, breakout sessions, and entertainment packages. This conference will also feature opportunities for interactions and transactions in our virtual marketplace with government at your service, MDAs, legacy partners, other private sector companies, and the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Ladies and gentlemen, I certainly anticipate a successful and fruitful conference, as well as meaningful and robust discussions over the next few days. It is now my pleasure to formally declare the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference open. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Campbell. Ladies and gentlemen, with that declaration, we come to the close of this first part of our time together today. Don't forget that our hybrid event will be having several other things happening, both in person here and online as well. At this time, we have a short break of about 2 minutes, and then we will reconvene for the plenary topics, discussions, and of course, our main speaker for today. I'm Paula Ann Porter-Jones. I look forward to seeing you in a few minutes when we return.
Find the businesses to help you live a better life, a beautiful life, a graceful life with Grace Kennedy Financial Group.
For over 60 years, we at the Best Dressed Chicken have kept our commitment to you, our valued partners and consumers, supporting communities through difficult times and emerging stronger. Now more than ever, we stand with you. As we reopen our doors, we remain committed to the highest safety and sanitation standards to keep both you and our team safe and our production strong. We continue to pledge our support to all our community, wholesalers, retailers, schools, restaurants, and hotels to continue feeding Jamaica and helping to rebuild our economy. Together, we will become stronger, more resilient as we continue on our mission to help Jamaica grow strong.
Think you know Jamaica? We are manufacturing. Now you know Jamaica. Do business Jamaica. Traveling to Jamaica with unaccompanied shipment? The Jamaica Customs Agency is encouraging all air passengers with unaccompanied shipments who have a taxpayer registration number, TRN, to present it to Customs upon arrival. This will subsequently facilitate faster processing when clearing your unaccompanied shipments. The Jamaica Customs Agency will continue to implement measures to improve our service delivery and your service experience. You may contact us at 876-922-5140 to 8 or email public.relations@jca.gov.jm on this and other customs-related matters. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
you to take your seats at this time. Oh, here we go. We are ready to move into the next phase in, I believe, 60 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Move quickly, move quickly. Thank you. Those at the front are asking you to have a seat, please, so that we can get the cameras back and ready. And so we get set to begin this next segment of our time together. We are welcoming back our online participants. And we're reminding you that there are 3 concurrent breakout sessions that are going to be happening. Making things happen, IRL, in real life, and in the hybrid space, is always an interesting endeavor. And so we welcome back those in the hybrid space, and we are also welcoming those who are just joining us here as the ministry's new offices in downtown Kingston happen to be our host or venue for our event. As a matter of fact, I'm going to repeat so that those who weren't here before can hear the bright Jamaican morning that we're sending out to the hundreds of participants who are joining us virtually. It's really wonderful to be able to engage with Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica living overseas. And during this course of the 3-day, or the course of this 3-day event, we're going to be bringing you all to discuss opportunities for heightened involvement in Jamaica's development. Now today, day 1 of the conference, we're considering the plenary topics, igniting diaspora engagement in a digitalized world, and igniting diaspora engagement for education transformation in Jamaica. We also look forward to participation in 3 exciting concurrent breakout sessions with members of diaspora faith-based organizations, young diaspora members, and also government departments who will take your questions on service delivery. You want to stick around after lunch for the special Riverside chat that's going to be taking place on the National Identification System, NIDS, presented by Honorable Floyd Green, Minister without portfolio with responsibility for NIDS. And I want to remind you to take advantage of the marketplace. It's going to be in full swing during today's activities. At any time, if you're online, you can click on the link to the virtual marketplace and check out the exhibitors. Someone will be available during the hours of 7 a.m. or between the hours of 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. to respond to your questions, help you place orders for a wide variety of merchandise and services on offer. We are very proud to acknowledge, as others have, our legacy partners without whom this conference would be impossible. We've enjoyed lasting partnerships and sustained support over the past 2 decades from Grace Kennedy Group, the VM Group, and the Jamaica National Group. Now this year, as you've heard, our keynote participant is Jamaican Jackie Wright. Jackie Wright is a global technology leader who has made a broad impact in business transformation and on social issues. She currently serves as the Corporate Vice President and Chief Digital Officer for Microsoft US. Here to interview global technology leader, Madame Jackie Wright, for our first Riverside chat is Professor Lloyd Waller. And he's Professor of Digital Transformation Policy and Governance in the Department of Government and Chief Digital Lead at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Prof. Waller?
Testing. Okay, thank you very much, Paula. Jackie, welcome back to Jamaica.
Thank you.
Digital transformation is a term that is currently in vogue. However, it's a term that is also vague. To start or contextualize the conversation, could you give us a definition of what digital transformation is?
Sure, but let me just first start out by saying I'm truly honored and humbled to be here in Jamaica. My heritage is out of Manchester and out of St. Elizabeth, Minister Green, who has told me time and time again about his heritage in St. Elizabeth. So I just want to acknowledge that. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about digital transformation, and let's just talk about the pandemic and what has happened, the effect, and all of that. If you think about the pandemic, what it's really done is really exposed the lack of critical infrastructure, lack of data and information, really for the health crisis to really solve it, the knock-on effects, supply chain disruption, and all of those things. And I just think it's a great opportunity for us now to reimagine what the future should be with digital at the core. So at a high level, what is digital transformation? Jackie speaking here. Digital transformation is a couple of things. It is about adopting digital technologies. It is about a digital ethos to truly transform outcomes, transforming how we work, how we live, how we provide services, how we run our operations, manage risk. It's really all of those things. And in the broader context of transformation for a country, like Jamaica, as we're talking about here, I just think about a few key things. What do you need and what is it for us? We need a digital-first policy, forward-thinking policy to really enable transformation. We need workforce. We need the right skills, the right to empower and educate so that we have the right workforce to be able to do that. We need to focus on an ecosystem. So when you think about it, the point that was made by Senator Weedby about dropping a drip versus an ocean, we can't do it alone. So this notion of partnerships, coalitions, to really create the conditions for transformation. And then all of those things need to be harnessed collectively for what I think should be social good, inclusion, digital inclusion, and creating a sustainable societal impact. All of that wrapped around really needs a holistic approach. A holistic approach in terms of defining and shaping what your destiny is, charting the course, and really executing. And I think Jamaica has that 2030 vision document, national development, and I think that's just a start because it sets out some of those things. So for me, all of those things really wrapped around adopting digital technologies, a digital ethos, the culture, digitally first thinking in terms of how you do everything is really how transformation needs to manifest itself.
Excellent, thank you. In 2021, McKinsey published an article that said 76% of all digital transformation projects have failed during COVID. What are the success factors for digital transformation for industry and for government?
And both of them are quite similar. The tone from the top matters, right? The tone from the top in terms of setting out and charting out the course in terms of what good needs to look like, who we are as a company, who we are as a country, trying to help folks envision the art of what's possible, it really is the starting point. The second is, as you look across your organization, how do you make sure you have the right culture, the culture to cultivate the environment? You know, in an environment where transformation has to be adopted, government, private sector, etc., the culture needs to exist for people to want to lean into it. You have to build trust and transparency in your organization, in government, because frankly speaking, this is scary for many people. Many people have vision of what it is, technology is, and have made up things. And in order to do that, we have to remove the demystify what it means to really adopt technology and transform your organization. You have to reward the right behavior, because at the end of the day, you want people to be able to lean in. You want to drive innovation. You want to really focus on, if people fail, they fail fast and can recover. And all of those things need to be rewarded for the right behaviors. You have to communicate. If you think about your communication plan, again, private and public, same thing. How do you take people on the journey? How do you help people understand the progress you're making? If you're making mistakes, you're fully transparent and vulnerable about the mistakes you're making. And again, this is a journey. It isn't a lights off and on. This is how you take people along. So communication, marketing, campaigning really, really matters. The other thing is people need to see, and you need to create these proof points, right? Value cases that help people understand and really can lean into it. And then, you know, you cultivate an environment where, you know, for the most part, you have people who have been around 20, 30 years, and you have digital natives. You need to harness the power of all people. And how do you include and bring all people along? And so this notion of making sure that people are working collaboratively and working together, these are just a few things. And you know, I'm excited, as you can tell, about you know, the notion of transforming a country at scale. This country, we have a lot of things that I think are proof points in terms of taking the steps. Infrastructure. As I read, we have 55% penetration in broadband, but we need to finish, right? Because that, you know, access is key. We have a national identity system that we're implementing, along with data and information, to really create a holistic approach to how we provide services to the country. And in doing that, we need to make sure that we bring everyone along. How can everyone participate in these services? How can we provide services that remove the barriers of entry? And you know, I believe that technology has the power to be the great equalizer, with technology that can help those with disabilities to increase the ability to consume services in a way that's just really simple. All of these things are how we need to embrace, bring transparency and trust so that we can deliver.
Excellent. I have so many other questions based on what you just said.
You only have a few minutes.
I know. So the European Union just completed, the European Union Commission just completed a major study.
Yes.
The report was published, I think, in February, and it said that collaboration and partnerships are the critical component that is needed for digital transformation to actually work. Based on your experience and interaction, what can you tell us about what partnerships, what types of collaborations that GOJ will need to facilitate the transformation of the country using digital technologies? So
let's use skilling. You know, this notion of digital fluency, bringing everyone along, making sure that there is no disparity. Digital inclusion is at the core of building capacity, capability. But in order to do that, you have to provide jobs, you have to have the right curricula. You know, the pathways to employment don't always have to be you have a degree. You have to create various pathways to employment. So I'll use an example of one of the things that we were doing and I was leading at Microsoft, was an Accelerate program, which was in partnership with private sector, public, academia, learning partners, both large and small, to do a few key things. Look at the personas in a demographic that says, what are the industries in that region? How can we create the right skills for the future based on the technologies, AI, IoT, machine learning, you name it, based on the technologies that are here and emerging? How can we have learning partners to help skill in community, to then help train, and then work with the corporates to say you need apprenticeship programs, you need internship programs, and create these pathways to employment. And so working in partnership with a Grace, as an example, and with a UE, and private learning partners I create as a training black background, and then really create this cohesive ecosystem with some wraparound services. Because for example, there may be young mothers who cannot take the time out to go learn. So how can we make sure we provide the safety net for them to be able to learn while looking after their family? Are there stipend programs that we create? So these are the things that, from a Microsoft perspective, we did, which really help transform a community. And I think, the notion of partnership, you have it here, and as you think about some of the things you're doing with the logistics hub on manufacturing in the region and working with your local partners in countries, it is ripe for partnership, and you just can't do it without it.
Fascinating. COVID-19 contributed to accelerating digital transformation globally. And I think we moved into the future by about 10 to 15 years, which is a fantastic thing. But, as Latour will tell you, technology can be good or bad depending on the wielder. And the bad of technology in terms of digital cybercrime and digital crimes and the use of the black web is something that we've had to face since COVID-19. And I know companies such as Microsoft has been playing an important role in trying to protect citizens from malicious use of the digital technologies. Based on your experience, how has Microsoft played an important role in terms of protecting citizens or users?
So I think, again, you think about the ethos of security. It is a zero trust. And, we had a review yesterday with some folks around how you build zero trust into it. You trust no one. And so you build in the necessary tools, the necessary policy, processes, and framework to ensure that security is embedded in everything you do. Everything from how you develop the service to how you implement the service, nation-state attack type processes, thinking through end-to-end what could occur. It is a philosophy in terms of this zero trust. So that is just an example.
The United Nations University plays an important role in terms of helping the United Nations deal with a number of problems, in terms of research and capacity building and skills, as you spoke about earlier. How do you see education institutions, especially higher educational institutions in Jamaica, playing a role in terms of contributing to the digital transformation of the country?
So there are a series of things. We talked about, making sure that the curriculum is fit for purpose. That is key. What are the skills for the future? And how do you understand what those skills are? In isolation, a university is not going to know. So you need to work, again, in partnership with the private sector, with research, to really understand what are these emerging themes that are coming across. The second is how you learn. You need to create different modes of learning, immersive experiences, remote experiences, experiences for accessibility for those with disabilities. And we have to think innovatively about how you learn. When you think about skilling, we're not talking just about youth. We're talking about skilling, reskilling for those who may have never entered the workforce. How do you create the right curricula for those? How do you understand the life skills needed? Because it's not just about the theoretical or the practical. It's how you collaborate, how you partner, how you communicate, how you build awareness, self-awareness. There are all these things that play into learning and really participating in the workforce. The final thing is, when you think about the curricula, we're talking about solving the world's problems. That's at the heart of it. Lifelong learning is embedded in everything and should be embedded in everything and what everyone does. However, we're here about solving problems, and through solving those problems, we create competitiveness, value-added businesses, we innovate, we create economic development, all innovating around solving the world's problems. And so creating a world in education where you do case studies, where you're understanding things such as the biodiversity, water conservation in Jamaica. What are the things we need to do? And really taking some of the youth out of these communities and helping them be a part of the solution. I mean, Asha talked about what she feels in terms of the youth really leaning in. How do we make sure that everyone can participate? Again, whether it's higher learning, apprenticeship learning, immersive learning, this is about inclusion.
Thanks. One of the biggest problems that I think the government and industry faces here in Jamaica is the fact that we cannot retain talent. For the most part, many persons in the IT industry choose to migrate for, a better lifestyle and also salary. How can we encourage, what strategies can we put in place to encourage or facilitate incentives for young people to stay in Jamaica and work in Jamaica, especially in the tech industry?
So I beg the question, what is a better lifestyle? As I look out on the ocean there, sitting in a hotel on the beach, I think that's a better lifestyle to me than commuting to the city every morning. So I think it depends. I think what we need to really ask ourselves, how can we create a better lifestyle in country? How can we create opportunities in country? How can we cultivate economic development, innovation, small and medium businesses in country? And at the heart of it is making sure that everyone can participate. You give someone a job, we could, again, Minister Green and I had a discussion. You give someone some training in cybersecurity. Let's hire them into government to help us with our cybersecurity capability, capacity, and employment needs. Grace, I'm sure Grace has needs in terms of skilling. Let us skill and bring pathways to employment through apprenticeships and internships to the country, within the country, and stimulate the economy.
There are a number of young people watching in particular, and I know last year alone, we did a study and there were over 40 new IT jobs that were manifested. The persons left their 9-to-5s to start an IT job. What can you tell a young Jamaican who wants to go into the tech business, who wants to be like you? What are the things, what are the secrets to success? How can they navigate this space to move from point A to point B?
A few key things. Technology is in everything. So whether you're in nursing, manufacturing, tourism, it's just everywhere. So at the heart of it, technology is fundamentally the keys to unleash the power in any industry. And so you have an opportunity. The opportunities are endless. The second is your mindset. How do you think about going into the workforce, creating a business, innovating? And the one thing I would say, me personally, my pride, who I am, came from my heritage. It really did. It differentiated me in a way from a mindset that no one could imagine. And so take that pride, take that ethos of work hard ethic, building relationships, solving problems, take that with you. Now, lifelong learning is part of it because we're talking about how you apply technology, not just learning technology. You could be the best engineer in the world sitting in a corner if no one knows it, all you are is an engineer. So really understanding what problem you're trying to solve. And then pay it forward. Because if you think about Jamaica, we talk about the diaspora. How you go, me personally, I feel that I'm doing a lot for the industry. How am I paying it forward in Jamaica? How am I building and helping to build Jamaica? And I think those are some of the keys to success.
Thanks. Earlier, Minister Campbell spoke about a platform that can facilitate the diaspora's engagement in Jamaica. And it's an excellent form of communication and social interaction. But I'm pretty much sure that there are other ways in which the diaspora and Jamaica can work together towards a win-win for both the country and individuals in the country. Can you think about one or two strategies or projects that we could take away from here as mechanisms for the development of Jamaica or the transformation of the diaspora using digital technologies? In other words, how can they play an important role in the digital transformation of Jamaica?
So I think there are key opportunities. We touched on the notion, I think the Minister of Tourism touched on what the pandemic has unleashed, necessity is the mother of invention. And what we've created, what we've realized is that nearshoring now is a big opportunity for us, right? And so what opportunities can we do in country to expand that? If you think about AI and technology in the world of blockchain and digital currency, Jamaica is embarking on that. There's an opportunity there to create an ecosystem that, again, makes sure everyone is included, but the currency and banking is an opportunity. Agriculture. You know, I'm a firm believer that we need to be a self-sufficient country. So what do we need to do that? Right? There's more arable land. We've got solar. We have things that other countries don't have to really benefit from a sustainable economy with agriculture. So how can we do that? And how can we incentivize our youth to go into agriculture? If you look at the world, there's far less arable land, there's less water, there are more people in the world. Agriculture is going to be a key theme. So for me, that is a big one as well. And then when you think about the biodiversity, water conservation, energy, and how we could provide energy for others using solar, I think there are big opportunities there.
Thank you very much. And I think the last question I wanted to ask is, how can governments leverage technology to protect their borders for development, for the skills development, for training, for capacity building? What is the key ingredient for leveraging technology for development, based on your observation?
I think policy is at the heart of it. I think there are a few key things. I think there are policy and governance that relate to how we work better together in government, any government, working better together, making sure those policies are not just fit for purpose, but always forward-thinking in terms of creating an enduring policy that can adapt to the change that's going on in the world, adapt to technology. When you think about data, you know, we've launched the Information Commission here in Jamaica, critical for building a data-rich environment where we can provide services for the country, where services can be consumed in a digital way. So I think those are some of the key things that we should focus on.
And I actually have one more. Because I mean, if I leave here and don't ask this question, I know I'm going to be in problems. Right? So we're looking at issues of gender and women in ICT. What facilities, what projects, what programs, what have you seen that has worked elsewhere that can encourage more young females to participate in the digital transformation space?
So I think providing access to investment is key. You know, when women start businesses, a whole community benefits from it in more ways than one, from a family construct, from how people develop their services and consume this, just a full breadth. And so I think access to investment. I think mentoring is key. You know, the majority of those in leadership positions, whether in technology or CEOs, are men. And so providing these mentoring type of environments to help women. What gets measured gets treasured. And so how do you measure the success of women? And so, you know, those are the things that I think to cultivate the right environment and conditions. Care of children. How do you provide the right daycare? And there are just so many things that when you focus, you win. And so let's focus on some of these key things.
Well, thank you very much, Jackie, for a very insightful and pleasant and informative presentation. May you continue to ignite and reignite the light on behalf of Jamaica.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
I forgot my stuff.
We all have big dreams and even bigger hills to climb. This life is one big road with many curves and winds. When you need a friend to guide you to the strength you have inside, VM will be your guide, always by your side. We're a firm foundation here to stay, build you a brighter way, yeah. Transform your everyday, turn your dreams to reality. VM makes you all you can be, yes. Transform
Group. Transform your everyday. You take care of those back home because you love them. Now, with MoneyGram, you can send money back home and have them pick up from any of our over 130 Lasco Money Agent locations across Jamaica. Simple thing. Send some extra love to Jamaica now with MoneyGram and tell them to pick up from any Lasco Money Agent location. It's fast, it's reliable, it's convenient. Lasco Money. Simple thing.
Hello, my name is Wayne Golding, and I serve as a team lead for the Peace Working Group of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. The other members of the Peace Working Group are Mr. Kevin Jr., Sector-Based Citizen Security, Ms. Shauna Chin, Vice Chair of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, and, of course, the West Midwest USA elected member, Ms. Naila Gordon-DeCiccio, elected member from Canada, and Mr. Nathaniel Pete, elected member of the United Kingdom South. Serving as our secretary is Ms. Lisa Brian Smart, Assistant Director of the Diaspora Affairs Department in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. After intense research by members of the Peace Working Group on the issues surrounding the broad mandate and concept of peace, the group had its inaugural meeting on March 28, 21. The members of the group have had varying and wide-ranging discussions on the wider concept of peace and the development of a work plan to best adhere to the terms of reference of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, as well as Jamaica's Vision 2030 and the Matrix of Sustainable Development Goals of Jamaica. The concept of peace was defined by two internationally recognized concepts, the first being negative peace, which represents the absence of violence or the fear of violence from a society. The second being positive peace, which represents the attitude, institutions, and structures that create and sustain peaceful societies. The positive peace concept was adopted as a wider goal of the Peace Working Group. The Peace Working Group recognizes and appreciates and understands how countries like Jamaica operate within the concept of peace, which is very complex, and will strive to assist the development of positive peace-related policies. As members of the Jamaica Diaspora, we welcome the opportunity to consult, advise, and contribute to these policy developments as it relates to a more peaceful Jamaica. Jamaica is currently ranked number 80 of 163 on the Global Peace Index of countries in the world. Our strategic policy will follow well-functioning government, sound business environment, equitable distribution of resources, acceptance of rights of others, good relationship with our neighbors, free flow of information, high levels of human capital, and low levels of corruption. The group has taken its first steps to partner with an established group in Jamaica, which is the Area 4 Police Civic Committee. Mr. Kevin Jr. is the liaison between the Peace Working Group and the Area 4 Police Civic Committee. Peace Working Group looks forward to and anticipates a successful collaboration and the establishment of this type of structure right across Jamaica. On behalf of the Peace Working Group, I wish to welcome you to this year's biennial Jamaica Diaspora Conference and hope that it will further be a medium for the recalibration and continued cementing of the meaningful relationship between Jamaica and its awoken diaspora. Thank you and have a great conference.
Customer service improvement. SMS text is sent to customers advising on the result of form search, which is a detailed search that seeks to ascertain registration information for individuals who do not have a registration number. Our BDMS, birth, death, marriage system is directly updated to the system. This accommodates correction of errors on certificates to be corrected and reprinted immediately upon return of certificates by customers. Application for refunds are also accepted on the RGD's website. Our online web chat facilitates customers worldwide where they communicate real-time with RGD representatives who assist with queries.
The Gleaner wants you to unfold our pages in a new way. Download the eGleaner app for quick and convenient access to daily exclusive news at your fingertips. Get it now in the App Store or the Google Play Store. Search eGleaner, click download, then sign in or register via jamaica-gleaner.com/premium to activate. Take control of your daily read. Download the eGleaner app today.
You take care of those back home because you love them. Now, with MoneyGram, you can send money back home and have them pick up from any of our over 130 Lasco Money Agent locations across Jamaica. Simple thing. Send some extra love to Jamaica now with MoneyGram and tell them to pick up from any Lasco Money Agent location. It's fast, it's reliable, it's convenient. Lasco Money. Simple thing.
Welcome back as we continue to ignite a nation for greatness. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before the break, we had a fantastic conversation, very insightful presentation with our outstanding diaspora role model, Jackie Wright. And we just wanted to point out that everything highlighted in her presentation resonates with Jamaica's outlook for the ongoing digitization agenda, as well as the government's draft national diaspora policy. Now, this policy reflects the commitment of the government of Jamaica to pursue diaspora-related strategies and initiatives that are mutually beneficial to national development processes and the well-being of its diaspora population. The policy is in keeping with Vision 2030 Jamaica National Development Plan, and it's a comprehensive framework and guide to harness the power of the diaspora, ensuring that Jamaicans at home and abroad are empowered, that the Jamaican society is secure, cohesive and just, and that the economy is prosperous, and that the health of the natural environment is enhanced. Making this happen are Jamaicans all over the world. That is what our diaspora is. And at this time, we join those Jamaicans, our partners in the UK, at the UK Hub. We have His Excellency, Mr. Seth George Ramakan. Now, His Excellency became Jamaica's 13th High Commissioner to the United Kingdom in December 2016. He is also non-resident ambassador to 6 countries: Ireland, the Republic of Finland, the Republic of Cyprus, as well as the kingdoms of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. So help me welcome, please, His Excellency, Mr. Seth George Ramakan.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're saying good evening here, but I know it's good morning in Jamaica and in other parts of the world, different time zones. But we're so happy to be able to join into the conference right here from London. Last time we attended the conference, it was right there in Jamaica. And although COVID has done much damage, this is one of the good things that has come out of it, is that it has made us more aware of the usefulness of the technology and for having this hybrid conference, which allows so many more persons to participate right across the globe. So I want to congratulate and to thank our ministers, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, of course, our legacy partners and sponsors and organizers and all the persons involved in putting this conference together. In fact, already we have begun to benefit from the conference because, or last guest, Jackie Wright, to hear her and to know this powerful Jamaican woman who is, at the top of the Microsoft company, can be here to share with us in the way she did. We truly, truly appreciate it. One of the things that we see happening on the ground here in London is that more and more members of our diaspora are seeking to become citizens of Jamaica. And for us, that is very exciting, not just individuals, but families. And what it means is that Jamaica is growing more and more appealing to or nationals overseas, and they are seeing the benefits of being in Jamaica. One of the things we also have been working at is to encourage young people to become involved and to see Jamaica as a place of opportunity for young people. As the earlier generations become older and older, and there are less reasons for sending remittances because there are no children. All the children are now born here. We need to see the ways in which our young people can become involved in investing in Jamaica, and not large investments. They don't need to find millions of pounds. They simply need to find enough money that can pay down on a house and get into the what is it called, the business of renting. What's it called? Airbnb, that's correct. You can see the reflection of age as it's taking place. So we're really, really happy about that, and that is really, something that looks like, there's growth ahead so far as our members of our diaspora are concerned. And of course, we are very much involved in trying to educate our diaspora members on just what is happening in Jamaica. Few people really are aware of the extensive developments that are taking place in Jamaica. So from this conference, we are looking, for the kinds of information that can help the folks here on the ground to better understand how they can benefit from Jamaica, how they can support Jamaica in its programs. There are many persons within the professional field and other, entrepreneurial type individuals who want to make use of the opportunities in Jamaica. And I'm very sure that from the program of the conference that this is very promising, that we are going to be having a very exciting conference here over the next 3 days. So at this point, I was told I had only 2 minutes to make some comments. I just want to look forward to the next few days when we can have the interaction. Individuals can actually interact with the leaders, the business leaders, government leaders, and others, high officials in Jamaica. We want to be able to have the questions and the opinions expressed. So thank you very much. It's really great for us to be able to join you live online.
Once again, we thank His Excellency for his remarks. Now, Ms. Jackie Wright's keynote address has set the stage for a seamless transition into the first plenary session of the conference, dubbed Igniting Diaspora Engagement in the Digitalized World. And moderating this session is Ms. Erica Simmons, and she is online.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Greetings to everyone far and near. This is a special year for us, and to see how far we have come as a diaspora, but also to get some perspectives on the future and to set our sights for that. I'm Erica Simmons. I'm the chairwoman of the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, the Jamaica section. And the IEEE is one of the world's largest technical professional organizations with over 350,000 people working worldwide to advance technology on behalf of humanity. I'm very pleased to be moderating our opening plenary session, Igniting Diaspora Engagement in a Digitized World. And we want to use this session really to set the stage and provide a backdrop to the dialogue and sessions that are to come. In this session, we'll highlight some opportunities that digitization and digitalization offer for strengthening and sustaining our diaspora engagement. So during the next 60 to 75 minutes, we're going to have a fiery discussion on the state of the world today. We can look to where we were before the pandemic, and Mrs. Wright has already shared some thoughts on that, and really what a disruptive force the pandemic was and what it will mean for us in the future. We'll also hear from the government of Jamaica, who's been doing amazing work to catalyze the transformation that we need to have in our Jamaica, including a lot of work that we've been doing on access to the internet and bringing digital technologies to Jamaica. And we're looking forward to hearing about future plans as well. This conference is so much about the diaspora, and we look forward to have the opportunity to talk about how we can activate ourselves, what we can do to serve our country, including our knowledge sharing, our skills transfer, our ethics and governance experience. And I know it is an aspiration that many of us have to give back to our beloved Jamaica. We're going to have an opportunity also to hear from the future and hear from one of our esteemed young scholars. And it's important that we listen and also take in and collaborate with our youth, as we know the future is truly theirs. And so without further ado, I would like to invite our esteemed panelists for this session. And first, I just want to point out that there must be something in that red dirt that we have in Manchester. I'm also a proud Manchesterian, a daughter of the red dirt, and also a daughter of St. Bess, St. Elizabeth. Treasure Beach is my home as well. So proud to be here. I would like to introduce the Honorable Floyd Green, our Minister without Portfolio, Ms. Jackie Wright, our Chief Digital Officer and Corporate Vice President of Microsoft US, Dr. Kevin Brown from the Global Diaspora Council in the UK, and Miss Angela Stewart, a Jamaica studying computer science at Howard. And Miss Stewart has also been selected for a prestigious internship at NASA this summer. So we're gonna hear from her. I want you to please join me in welcoming our panelists. Okay, yes, our panelists. Okay, so I know that we had just had that really wonderful discussion with Jackie Wright, and she shared a really big vision about where we are and the transformation that was happening in the world. And I wanted to share with you, when I was 8 months old, actually, Intel introduced the microprocessor. And for the last 51 years, the world has continued to be impacted by computing. So the world is truly becoming digitized. And even almost 10 years ago, when we were talking about a disruption in industry, I'm sure Jackie from Microsoft can remember this. We were talking about disruption, but we couldn't really, forecast the disruption that was the pandemic. And so that was a wake-up call to us all. So Jackie, I want to start with you. I know that you have shared some thoughts about where we were before the pandemic and where we need to go in the future, but I'm wondering if you can kind of summarize that. Then I have a question going a little bit deeper to ask you about data and information. So before the pandemic, the world, where were we and where are we now? Just a few thoughts on that, Ms. Wright. And I am not hearing anything from the room if we are broadcasting. Hello?
Hi, Erica. I know that you can hear me. We're just sorting out just a tips of a little bit of technical difficulty right here. So just
Hello.
so we'll be with you in a moment.
All right.
Thank you so very much.
All right, Erica. I am on. Can you hear me?
You're on. Yes,
all right,
I can.
all right, very good.
All
All right. So a loaded question there in terms of before and after. I mean, before. Life was life, right? You know, a pandemic occurred that, one, helped folks recognize that we are a global connected society, right? You know, this notion of something happening in one part of the world affecting the rest of the world. Prior to that, most businesses, when they thought about their risks and they were looking at their risks, pandemics were not part of the risk register. And so before, there was this notion of, you know, I'm in my world, I have competition, you know, the business parameters are there. But now there's a pandemic where I better understand the geopolitical landscape because I can't get my parts, I can't get food, we've shut down the workforce. And all of these things culminated into a world of, wait a second, we are more dependent on each other than we realize. Absolutely. And so based on that now, how do we move forward? You know, this notion of cooperation, this ecosystem, to solve problems together is where we are and where we need to be. The sustainability goals, the UN has 17 sustainability goals. None of those goals, eradicate poverty, etc., none of those can be done without the collective participation. And so governments have a key role to play in really working together. Private sector has a key role to play in creating the opportunities to solve some of these problems. Academia has a role to play in making sure we have the right skills. People can be employed, we can create small businesses. And I think, as I think about the pandemic, I think what it has done has also changed our ways of working. So, thrust into the world of having to work from home. And if you didn't have the infrastructure in place, you could not work. Yes, there were frontline workers, but for the most part, people worked from home. So now we're in this environment. It's going to be hybrid for the foreseeable future. We have to provide access so that people can work in ways that make sense. We have to make sure we are always looking at risks in a new light. So when you think about risks, understand that if we have another pandemic, here's what's going to occur to you in your country, and it's going to affect you as much as it affects anyone else. And so the notion of risk and understanding risk has to change. Then there's resilience. And I'm sure Minister Green will touch on that. You know, if you didn't have the infrastructure in place, you could not function. And so making sure that you have an infrastructure plan that you can address, you can put in place, you measure the progress that's been made, that is critical to the success of resiliency. And then you have the geopolitical unrest that is occurring today, and how do we play into that? So I just think there's just so many things that we could touch on, but at the heart of it, it is having the foresight, it is understanding the world around you, it's positioning yourself so that you can effectively adapt transform, get in front of it, react when need be, and react quickly. All of those things are the things we need to think about now.
Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. That's really a strategic plan for us to try to put down on paper and attack, certainly. I really got a lot of confidence, and I felt you when you were talking about making sure that even our most, the lowest common denominator of citizens in our country can have an opportunity to participate in the future, in our digital future. I noticed in our program, there are two words that I normally hear a lot, and maybe you can help us with some definitions, and I think they're sort of different. So the first word, Jackie, is digitization, and then the second word is digitalization. Can you maybe talk about those two different terms? Because I think there are opportunities, and I'll share in a minute, about how our citizens can get involved in digitization of our country.
Yeah, so I think there are two things. I think there's digitization, the act of digitization, and there's the digitalization, which is the how and what you need to do. And I think as you think about those two terms, that's the way you should think about it.
Yeah. So when we think about digitization, I think that we have such rich cultural assets here in Jamaica, right? And if we begin to think about how we can monetize our culture in a way, right? This notion of being data rich, I feel like we're very data rich. And one of the ways that I think that we can go about sort of digitizing our cultural assets is to look at a lot of the things that we have and figure out a way to get them into a digital format that can be consumed. Do you want to comment a little bit about the importance of data and how maybe our cultural data, which we don't necessarily see a lot of value in, how we can maybe look at that in a different way in this new digital economy?
Yeah, and I would also refer to not just myself, but to Minister Green. And I think you have someone from Howard, and I'd really like to hear.
I have more people. I have a number of people.
I'd really like to. I don't want to capitalize on this, but I think data and information is at the heart of being able to provide everything, anything. How you provide a service, how you understand and can anticipate what's going to happen. I mean, we're doing things now with, I use the Republic of Tonga, where they had an earthquake and a tsunami, and using that rich data to then be able to prescribe, predict, anticipate the conditions for another one to come anywhere in the world. Just think about that. Using the data to analyze, inform, prescribe, predict what's going to happen next. Powerful. And so when you think about Jamaica, we have, to your point, we have rich cultural data around many different things. We have a rich history that we should be really digitizing so that people can access it around the world. I use myself as, growing up, born and growing up in the UK, I had to learn about the Paul Bogles and the Mary Seacole. I didn't know much about that. Just think about the power of putting it there so people can learn about the greatness of your country globally. I mean, there's just so many things, to your point, that data can really harness the power, as well as providing critical services. So if we talk about, and I'm going to refer to Minister Green in a minute, to talk about the services you provide a country and anticipating the notion of at birth. We know that throughout, from cradle to grave, we know the services that you're going to need throughout your life. And we can anticipate the types of services you need based on the stage gates of your age. And we can make sure we provide the right service at the right time for your conditions, because we understand how best to serve you. And that is at the heart of improving a country, improving the services that any government should provide to its citizens. And I'll refer to Minister Green there.
Thank you so much for that, Jackie. I agree completely. Okay, so Minister Green, good morning, sir.
Morning.
I wanted to just add my congratulations to everyone on your recent nuptials. I saw the beautiful pictures on Instagram this
Thank you.
weekend. Just gorgeous, you and your wife. I know the government of Jamaica has been doing a ton of things during the pandemic, really, to really bring our country into a digitized society. Can you share some of the things that we have been undertaking? Because I don't think people in the world actually know the investment that has been taken over the last 2 years to really, bring that digitized world and services to our citizens.
Yeah, so thank you very much, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to members of the diaspora. I think it's excellent that we're doing this conference in a hybrid fashion. It really shows how far we have come and have recognized how we can really utilize the technology to better reach our people. I'm very happy to have Jackie here in person. I think you've set a wonderful framework. Clearly, the COVID pandemic kind of forced us as government to accelerate the pace of our digitalization journey. Again, we had to see how many of our services we could now transition to provide those services online. We saw a massive fallout in our education system, and as with every crisis, one of the opportunities that was provided is now we can say that the vast majority of our students in primary school, in high school, have access to devices, and we already accelerated the pace of connecting our schools to internet services, something that we've been speaking about for a long time. In fact, we have distributed devices to all our teachers, and now those devices are utilized in the administration of their educational lessons. And I think that is where we wanted to be for decades and where we needed to be for decades. So despite all the challenges with COVID-19, we definitely have seen through that and through the intervention of the government a transformation of our educational systems and services. And that led us to, again, accelerate the pace of connecting our critical key infrastructure to broadband services. So we have embarked on a program to connect all our police stations, all our schools, all our courthouses right across the country to that broadband infrastructure. And in fact, we have embarked on a massive mission to have our country fully accessible to broadband services in another few years. And we have a national broadband program, which is a combination of the private sector and the public sector to really expand broadband access throughout our country. And this year, we looked at how can we provide Wi-Fi services in our rural communities through public Wi-Fi systems. And in fact, we have embarked on over 180 of those Wi-Fi places throughout Jamaica to ensure that people have access free of cost to those internet services. But again, the bigger picture is how can we regularize services being provided online? How can we ensure that our citizens do not have to leave the beauty and the comfort of a treasure beach in St. Elizabeth and have to come into Kingston, which we do not look forward to transact business. So we have been looking at all our ministries, all our departments and agencies to see how can we offer those services. I would signal out the RGD, the Registrar's General Department, which have gone a far way in trying to ensure that a lot of the things that you need, like your birth certificates, your marriage certificates, those things you can do online. And we continue to add those services, not just for Jamaicans, but clearly for members of the diaspora. So if you want your birth certificate, we've reached the stage now that if you want to get married here in Jamaica, you can apply, set up your appointment online, and just show up, right? So we are trying to ensure that we provide those services, but it has to go deeper. So the deeper that we're going is to digitize our records. One of the challenges that we have is that trying to set up online facing services on manual processes will just not work. So the government is investing a lot of money. For example, we're investing over 4 million United States dollars in digitizing all our records at the RGD, the Registrar's General Department, from 1930 to present. That will allow us to be a lot more efficient. That will allow us to really provide real services in real time and to truly transform our systems. I'm sure we'll speak a little bit more about our national identification system, which is at the core of what we want to do, but just to show you how we're truly incorporating the diaspora in our visioning and missioning and in reshaping our digital transformation journey, is that the Prime Minister has called upon the expertise of a Jackie Wright to serve in an advisory capacity, along with a number of great Jamaicans across the public and private sector that will sit together as a think tank to really look at where the world is going, and to advise the government so that we are being proactive other than reactive, to look at our transformational journey and to pull together the different moving parts so that we are all, as we would say in the country, singing from the same hymnal. And more importantly, to reduce the time that it takes for countries like ours to transform by drawing on real world experiences from people who are already leading those transformational journeys across various countries.
Wonderful, Minister. You forgot to talk about our digital currency. We're even doing stuff on banking. Let's talk
Absolutely. So you know Jamaica has launched our digital currency. We're the first country in the region to embark on a digital currency issued by the Bank of Jamaica. In fact, we just had a sort of incentive to encourage people to set up their digital accounts. And we have over 80,000 Jamaicans that have already signed up their digital accounts, that they receive $2,500 in digital currency to that account. And clearly what we're doing now is to ensure that public and private sectors are incorporated so that people can truly utilize that digital currency. You know, one of the big pluses is that the ease of access that that provides for citizens, the lack of fees, things of that nature to ensure that you can truly get what you deserve is something that we're very excited about. And of course, since you give me that input, our national identification system will be the key to leverage a lot of these services, right? You know, for the first time in our history, not only will we have a national ID, but we will have an electronic ID that will be fully backed by a full service software system that will allow us to do things like direct transfers to your national identification card. Now, when you put that with the digital currency, you see the new Jamaica beginning to emerge, and that's what we're moving on. And you spoke about our culture. One of the good things is that our young people are not waiting. So we already have young people who are operating in the NFT space that are digitizing their cultural assets. Bonita has done excellent work, and if you're a member of the diaspora, look him up. Wonderful NFT cultural pieces that you can get, that you can purchase, that really shows that Jamaica, with all our massive cultural assets, should really be leading the charge around the world in this space.
Very good point.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And with all of this transformation happening, and really, as Jackie said, technology going horizontal, I call it the horizontal vertical. So technology going horizontal across all of our sectors. It's going to be an important thing for us to focus on. Do you see the Prime Minister or our government in the future having someone that is directly responsible for our digital transformation, a Minister of Digital Transformation, Minister of AI? How are we going to make sure that this has policy backing and someone who is really focused on it? Do you see that happening?
Well, I think it has started. I think I may be the start of that process, yes. So we do have a Ministry of Science, Energy and technology, and a very good minister in the form of Minister Vaz that is really helping to drive that charge. We have also moved to having ICT authority, which for me, on a policy-wise, is a very big step in terms of setting the right signal that you have an entity that is really charged with driving your ICT build-out throughout your country. So we've taken those important steps. I think the Prime Minister bringing me into the office of the Prime Minister to focus not just on NIDS, but pulling together our digital transformation journey is a part of that process. So the answer is yes. I think we have the highest policy backing for this transformation, and it's at the level of the Prime Minister. That is what we want to see, and that's what we want to accelerate.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I'm participating in some UNESCO committees on ethics and governance around artificial intelligence, and also tool sets that are being implemented in government. So I encourage us also to look at the risks from implementing technology as well, and make sure that we have some things in place to protect our citizens. And
I think, without a doubt, Jamaicans are by nature very risk averse, right? So, some of the things that Jackie said earlier about ensuring that you have transparent, accountable systems, that you communicate regularly, you incorporate people. One of the good news is that we do have a very robust Data Protection Act. And Jamaica definitely has one of the best now in the world, and an information commissioner that has been appointed to protect all our data. And that was something that I know a lot of people are afraid of. As the government collects the data, what happens with it? We have a consent-based data approach to data protection. So there's no sharing of data without consent of the data owner. So there's so much to talk about, but over time.
Thank you.
Hey, Erica, I just want to add to Minister Green's point. Yes. The Information Commissioner, we had a discussion, and part of the remit is, to your point, making sure that ethics and understanding technology and ethics is embedded in the policy and how you think about the rollout of technology. So it is a core part of the Information Commissioner's remit.
Oh, thank you. That's wonderful to hear. Okay, let us transition over to Dr. Brown from the UK. And Dr. Brown, I know that many people in the diaspora really are looking worldwide to do something in Jamaica. I want you to first tell us about the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, just in case we have people on the line that's unaware of what you do, and what your organization is really doing to catalyze the diaspora, and what should we be doing at this point? Dr. Brown.
Thank you, Dr. Simmons. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to members of the diaspora the world over. It's really a pleasure to join you from London. I'm here at the High Commission in London with the High Commissioner, his wife, and members of the High Commission team, as well as members of the UK diaspora as well. So we're truly having a digital experience that has allowed us to join you, although we're 4,000 miles away. So I sit on the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, which is a forum established by the government of Jamaica to bring together members of the diaspora across the globe. So we have representatives from the diaspora from all the major regions, and Jamaicans live everywhere on the planet that you can imagine. And so this forum is based within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. It's chaired by Senator Leslie Campbell, and we also have a vice chair as well from the diaspora. And essentially we're a consultative and advisory forum for the government, and we also act as a bridge between the government and the diaspora communities. On the council, we have 5 working groups which are based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And I am fortunate enough to lead one of these working groups called the Partnerships Working Group, which is linked to the United Nations Development Goals 17. And the aim there is to create multiple stakeholder partnerships between the diaspora and various partners, including government ministries, departments, agencies, diaspora associations, the private sector, and so on. And within this working group, we have 3 flagship projects, and one of them happens to be the creation of a digital platform for the diaspora. So we've been working closely with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, as well as other partners, including the United Nations Immigration Organization, the IOM, to bring this concept to life. Because the reality is, and I'm sure it's been said earlier, that Jamaica has a global presence. Migration is certainly a big part of the Jamaican story, and we live across the planet. And the only realistic chance I believe we have of bringing the diaspora together as
Thank you so much for
community.
joining us for the Jamaica 60 Diaspora Conference 2022. Right now we have on stage plenary, Igniting Diaspora Engagement in a Digital World. Short break, right back.
Okay, sorry, yeah, I thought I heard something there. Go on. So, well, as I was saying, the problem we're trying to fix, Dr. Simmons, is that Jamaicans are all over the globe. So how do you engage almost 3 million people who live outside the country, who, as we know, want to give back, are very patriotic, and want to engage with Jamaica? How do you do that in a meaningful way? And the reality is that in terms of the current digital space, most government ministries, departments, and agencies have websites, but very few have dedicated websites that speak to the needs of the diaspora. And I know that some government agencies are trying to bring more and more of their services online, but this is still work in progress. And although we have several social platforms out there, social media platforms, Facebook and many others, if you look at how the diaspora uses them, it's typically in a very localized approach. So, a diaspora association will put all its members in a WhatsApp group, and they speak to each other using WhatsApp, for example, but it's still not beyond their local remit. And there isn't any one sort of global platform, universal platform that brings all of us together. So the aim of this project is to do just that, to create a digital platform where we can bring the diaspora together, allow them to easily access government services, but also interact with the private sector, with volunteer groups in Jamaica, and just local communities. But also it will allow the diaspora to speak to each other, because we have large diaspora presence in America, Canada, the UK, and elsewhere. And what you find is that oftentimes they're not able to interact with each other. So we want to facilitate that through this platform. So this is a very exciting project. We have started some work with the IOM, and that work is going to happen over the next 2 years. And there are other partners as well who are coming online, and we're looking forward to launching this project quite soon in the near future. And the good news is that there are examples out there that proves that this sort of infrastructure can work. The IOM has its own diaspora platform called iDiaspora, but that's a universal platform. Anyone can join it. But also the Republic of Moldova have recently launched their own diaspora platform as well. And also Senegal on the continent of Africa have also recently launched their platform. So there are examples out there, and we want Jamaica to be the next to launch theirs.
Awesome. Let's dig into that just a little bit more. So on the platform, are you envisioning that diaspora residents would put something on the platform that says, I have an offering or a service that I think could benefit Jamaica? And then are you thinking it would be matched with an agency or ministry that could use that, or a private sector company? How would that work just a little bit, just to get a little bit more information? Because I think this is a wonderful initiative that could really bring us all together. What types of things are we going to do on the platform?
All sorts of things, and one of the key objectives we have is to try to see if we can harness the vast human capital that we have out there in the diaspora, the many diaspora professionals with the various skills that are available. And so we want to make sure that this portal can make that easily accessible. So what we'll be encouraging diaspora members to do is to sign up to the portal as either individuals or businesses or charities, foundations, and they'll be able to allow their information to be there on the system, so that anyone who has a similar interest, say for example you're residing in the UK and you're interested in a particular topic, you can now find your fellow diaspora in the United States who has a similar interest by going onto the portal and within a few clicks finding that person. And likewise, it should allow the government of Jamaica and other stakeholders in Jamaica to find diaspora with certain skill sets as well, because all the information will be there. So what we're envisioning is a community, a digital community where we know where diaspora reside and we know what they're doing. You often hear governments, not just Jamaica, but other governments lament the challenge that they have around diaspora mapping. They don't know where the diaspora live or how many of them live in particular locations, and even worse, they have no idea what they're doing. And so we're hoping that with this portal, the diaspora, as they use it, we will be able to map their presence and harness those skill sets. The diaspora members should be able to go on there and know who's their local diaspora leader, where is their local diaspora association, and this has to be the way forward, because when you look at the next generation and how young people use the internet, it's all about social media. So we want to create Jamaica's own version of, not necessarily Facebook's, but something that has that look and feel about it.
All right. So did you tell us what the website was that we go register?
Well, at the moment, we are working on the concept. As I mentioned earlier, we're working with the IOM. We've launched a project called the Jamaica Engagement Model, and we're currently in the process of doing some consultation work, and we've recruited a consultant, and I would say over the next 18 months, there'll be some good work being done, and I hope by the time we have this conference next time, we'll be launching the Jamaica Diaspora digital platform. But it's work in progress. But what I'm seeking from anyone listening is of course feedback and opinions on how, what they would like to see on such a platform.
Wonderful. Well, Dr. Brown, we're throwing our full support behind you in this initiative. You've heard it, Diaspora. We need some support so that we can build a system, bring us all together to focus our attention on the important things that we have to do for our nation. Okay, so the next person that we are going to talk to is Miss Stewart. And Miss Stewart is representing the future of Jamaica, and we're proud of everything you have accomplished so far and are accomplishing. You are studying computer science at Howard, and we cannot have too many women computer scientists, because as we just discussed earlier, the ratio for women in computer science is about 30% women, 70% men. So you're entering an exciting field and bringing important perspectives to the field. So Ms. Stewart, we want to learn a little bit about you. Tell us about yourself, where you're from, and what you're studying at Howard, and then we'll talk about some more perspectives on the future.
Hello, everyone. First of all, it's definitely a pleasure to be here. My name is Angelica Stewart. I am a rising sophomore at Howard University. My major is computer science, and my minor is in physics. I'm from Portmore, Jamaica, so not Manchester, but Portmore, Jamaica. I attended the Woolmer's Trust High School for Girls, Agricola Gifts, and I'm currently doing an internship with NASA. Yeah, that's really about me.
So are you studying a particular area of computer science at Howard? Do you have a concentration that you can tell us about?
I don't have a particular concentration right now. One of the reasons why I chose this degree is because I know it's a very versatile degree. I know I can do a lot with this degree. So yeah, and then physics, if I was supposed to choose a concentration, it would be physics, because I love physics. It's always been my favorite science.
It's wonderful to see women physicists and women computer scientists, so kudos to you. Just tell us a little bit about your internship this summer with NASA. NASA itself has gone through a transformation, right? Over the last 10 years or so, we went from government-funded space flight to a more diversified strategy where we have the private sector leading. So there's lots of really wonderful things. There's missions all over our universe. So talk about what you're going to be doing this summer at NASA and where are you going to be?
My internship started on June 6th, so I'm currently in the DMV area, that's DC, Baltimore, DC, Maryland, Virginia. I'm currently at University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and we will be around that area. I will be flying on the NASA's P3 aircraft to collect atmospheric samples. This particular internship is focused on the geosciences, climate change, etc., sustainability. So last week I've done a lot of lectures on sustainability, climate change, the atmospheric boundary layers, aerosols, just different things in the atmosphere that is affecting our climate, that is affecting the world. So that's really what the internship is about. It's a cohort of 25 students across minority serving institutions, that is HBCUs and HSIs, which are Hispanic serving institutions. Yeah.
Oh my God, and such wonderful experience, and you bring a wonderful perspective being here in Jamaica. You understand our effects of climate. You could see that happening all around you. So best wishes on your internship this summer. We're going to be looking to see great things that you're doing. So now I want to talk about the future. So you're a student, second year student in a university, and you're seeing all these amazing things. So I want you to put some perspective about where you see yourself in the future and really what your wish is for Jamaica as a young person, and how would you catalyze other young people to take the action to serve our country, to give back?
I love Jamaica. Everything I do is because of Jamaica. My friends can tell you, like one of my friends say, you're a walking Jamaica. I really love my nation, and everything I do is really in support of my nation. I didn't just come to America to just come to America for myself. I really want to give back to my nation, especially in technology. I feel like Jamaica has the capacity. Ms. Wright was talking about the resources that we have as Jamaica. In terms of technology, we have the capacity to utilize those resources. So my vision for Jamaica is that I want Jamaica to be the tech center of the Caribbean. Like we are able to be the Silicon Valley of the Caribbean, if not the world eventually. So yeah, there's so much plans I can think of, so much plans I have for Jamaica, and I just have to finish my degree to execute them. But pretty much that's how I see Jamaica in the future, being the tech center of the Caribbean.
So are you coming back home?
I come back home quite often.
I mean, after you graduate, do you see yourself coming back to Jamaica?
Yes, I do see myself being a dual citizen for sure. Yeah, pretty much that's it.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you. We are definitely going to be looking to see how we can support you and others like you, and we'll come back for more perspective from our youth. So I wanted to go back to the whole panel and just to share some perspectives on. You heard all of our discussion from all of the panelists, which were amazing. I think what it tells us is that we have a very positive outlook, for the future. I want to maybe talk to Minister Green about this cooperation that we have for partners and, where we see Jamaica. Angela just said that we want Jamaica to be the leader, but leaders can't lead on their own. So maybe some perspectives on the collaboration that we need to have in the region. Like, for example, we lack critical infrastructure in the region, and I doubt that Jamaica can put this infrastructure in itself with its own investment from our own people. I believe we need to have a regional approach to infrastructure investments and cooperation. So Minister Green, maybe you can talk about the vision for cooperation around the digital transformation of our region. We got to get bigger, got to think about the other people, bring them along. And then maybe Jackie could talk about when we talk about infrastructure and what's required for the future, maybe what does that investment look like?
Yeah, well, firstly, I think Lady Stewart, the Portmore star, has really just made all of us so proud. I think we should give her a big round of applause. I want her to know